morning. Welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name is Sean Bell. James Farley is here.
Yeah, hi.
I'm sorry. I thought I had a joke for you this week, and I haven't. However, Mr. T-shirts is fucking back.
Mr. T-shirts is back. Yeah, I've changed my name on Twitter now for the foreseeable. Mr. T-shirts is very much back in the house.
Mm-hmm. But Mr. T-shirts and mugs and aprons and hats
and tote bags,
the whole
whatever, really, isn't it? It's,
just he will sell you anything he can.
Maybe I can put the logo on. Slip.
So this is a really roundabout and unhelpful way of telling you that we now have a store on our website, thecomputergameshow.com. Matt's put a shit ton of work into this, and you can tell it looks fucking brilliant. You can buy stuff with our logo on it and that. And it's pretty nice. And also the T-shirts with drawings of us folding our arms. And we've each got, I was going to say, it's not really a catchphrase, is it? It's just one or two words that you might associate with each of us. But I mean, those drawings are absolutely stunning. Man.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I look about 10 years older than I actually do, but it looks fantastic.
But I look like Hank Hill. Which
you do. That's good though. That's all right.
That's definitely that's the style of that illustration. Yeah, like a guy from work, Jake Richards. He's really good at sort of stuff. And I just asked him one day. It's after we talked about it on the podcast, and I thought, okay, so Jake, so I'm thinking about doing this thing where he does outlines. Like, no, don't just take pictures and I'll do it for you. And then so he really kindly did that, and I think they look fantastic. I mean, we all do look a bit weird, but that's the style, and I think it's captured us really well.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've already had several tweets from people saying they're buying the one with me on. So that's going to be really unnerving when I see that in real life.
Got, out of all the tweets and things I've seen, most people are like, "Oh, yeah, I'm getting the Sean T-shirt." I mean, right now the Sean T-shirt is the most popular.
Is it definitely? Have we looked at the numbers yet?
But I'm sure it is. Yeah,
it's the suit. You make the effort. People love it.
Yeah, we should have all suited up. It's silly, really.
Yeah. And obviously the shop is quite flexible. If there's anything you want to see on there, give us a shout and we'll see what we can do, because it's
Well, I mean, this is only really the beginning. We're eager to sort of do more, and if you've got any suggestions at all, just give us a shout. But I've put so much work into it, and I'm glad it sort of shows. But I'm also I've been really nervous about making it live, and I wasn't putting it off. But I was like, well, we should put it in then, and I was just worried about it.
You've done your usual thing of just being far too close to it, and you're just seeing things that no normal person ever would.
Yeah, so, but I mean, it's not perfect, but I'm happy enough. I'm happy it's live, and I can sort of relax a bit. Now I'll just go to my next item in the to-do list, I guess. But I'm really happy it's live. So the computergameshow.com/store. You can look at stuff we're selling and let us know, anyone listening, if you've got any issues, I guess, or queries about it.
One upcoming event in the future where you could wear your brand new Computer Game Show T-shirt.
Where everyone in the audience could wear their Sean Bell T-shirt, because imagine that.
Don't do that.
Okay,
we're doing a live show.
Wear James Farley T-shirt. Just imagine a picture of you. Thinking like you, James, and there's like 30 to 40 other people all wearing your T-shirt, all with their arms crossed, and you're in the middle with your arms crossed.
Just to get that photograph would just be amazing. Yeah,
that would be unbelievable content.
That would be incredible. Yeah, so we're doing a live show at EGX. We mentioned it before, but it's creeping up. It's 19th of October.
It really is, actually.
Which is, that is. I thought it was still a while off, and it's not. It's less than 2 months. So we're doing that on the 19th of October at 3 p.m. As long as you got just a regular ass EGX ticket, you can come and see us. I mean, you should probably just go anyway, because it's quite good. I'm really looking forward to it now.
Yeah, me too,
Now that I've realised that I've got no actual holidays this year. This is it. This is my big weekend, guys.
This is the big family trip.
Yeah, so let's make a big go of it. We've not booked a hotel yet. We should probably.
No, we should look at an Airbnb or something.
Probably figure that out.
We have got to sort that out.
Okay, we will.
At least it's somewhere sensible this time.
Yeah, true.
What, I'm going to Birmingham not sensible?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Just because it's not in
Just because it's not in the south.
Yeah.
Imagine, we have to travel down to the south, James. Think about us.
Oh, how terrible for you. It's like it's really easy to get there, and it's like when it was in Birmingham,
and it costs a fucking fortune.
Yeah,
I could get to Birmingham and back for £14.
I could get to Barcelona and back.
It costs a fortune for me to get from where I live to Birmingham because I don't live in London. I still have to travel all the way through there as well.
That's bullshit. It cost Dave £7 as well.
What do you mean?
Each way. When you all came up to Birmingham, Dave was like, because he was considering driving, then he was like, fuck me, I've just looked at the trains, it's like £7 each way.
Yeah, that's for him, but he doesn't live where I live, does he?
Yeah, you do. It's all the south. It's just one place with one train station.
Yeah, streets paved with gold.
Yeah, this show is supported by Patreon. If you want to head to patreon.com/TCGS, you can give us a sub and get extra stuff for it. Our Patreon producers for this episode are Alan M, Nash, Steve Garrett, and Aaron Patrick. What's in the feedback, Matt?
Let's get to it. Oliver Birch is first up, talking about the biggest subject from last week, ostrich riding. Hello, gents. Firstly, a confession. I shamefully rode on an ostrich while I was in Thailand some 5 years ago. I was too drunk at the time to consider the animal cruelty, but immediately regretted it. It was well funny at the time, though, so swings and roundabouts.
So it completely did not occur to me that riding on an ostrich would be really cruel and probably not legal. I don't know. I wasn't sure how much strength they had in them. I thought maybe it was just fine. That's why it was, there's pictures of it all over the internet. Because obviously, if there's pictures of something on the internet, it's absolutely fine.
It's perfectly legit and above board.
Yeah, that's how it works. So sorry to anyone who's like listening to that, being like, why are they all just laughing at the idea of going ostrich riding? That's it's horrific. Sorry, what else did you have to say?
I've actually got a statement here from Ostrich UK. He also continues, anyway, just wanted to remind you all that Joust, the arcade game from the 80s, existed. My old man has an retro arcade machine, and it's my go-to game when I'm around his. Cracking little game about jousting on ostrich back. That was pretty innovative for its time. Certainly from
good
a
good arcade game
standpoint.
It's really good.
Last week, Darren got a question James' commitment to the community, and he's back basically after James said actually he's incredibly committed to it. Darren says it's an ongoing investigation, but currently James is 164 podcasts deep in rushing the end bit, aka the community /emails tweets. Verdict pending, but it's a tentative 2 out of 10. Now, is that the community you're trying to rush through, or just because it's gone 10:30?
It's just because it's gone 10:30, and I've got other things I want to do.
Should we just reorder it and do all the questions at the and then you have to do then you'd have to do the news at the end. That'd be worse.
No, I don't want to do that because I definitely would rush through that. It'd be even less news. You'll get like 1 or 2 stories if you're lucky. If I do that.
Yeah. Well, we should have this time. It's a Gamescom. Nothing happened in the end. But Adam, late to the party, comes in to defend you, James. As someone who has nothing but positive interactions with James Farley, I can confirm that he has loads of time for the computer game show community. So it's a solid 8 from me. I mean, it's not a 10.
Oh, there you go.
It's an 8. So you've got 2 and an 8.
But if you add the 8 to the 2 you get 10.
It's a
10. Between the 2 of them,
that's
you're perfect. That's how it works.
So that's overall, that's a 5 probably. Yeah. So a little bit of work to do, James, but I think you're doing all right. Considering your outlook on the community, I think you're doing all right.
Spilt Milk Studio.
He masks his disdain for them really well. Yeah.
Do you say you love the community? Would you say you love the community?
I just said I love the community twice, Matt.
Okay, it cut out. Spilt Milk Studio has got in touch, as has Johnny Ball. Last week, James has picked me up on my pronunciation, and by doing so, pronounced the word. I'll just carry on. Pronunciation, James, not pronunciation. You were pronouncing pronunciation incorrectly while talking about the very topic. Couldn't resist. And Johnny Ball. So James Farley was trolling with the conversation about how to pronounce things while mispronouncing the word pronunciation, right? That nearly broke me. James, do you think we're stupid?
Well, no, as I can say, I mean, I'm glad that they spotted that. Yeah, that's quite good, because it is obviously pronunciation. But
is this a big joke to you, James?
You didn't pick up on it, so yeah.
Well, I couldn't believe the gall you would have to mispronounce that word whilst picking up on things.
I can't believe we missed it at the time, because I listened back and it's not subtle.
Yeah.
It's very... very obvious that he gets it wrong.
It just all happened in slow motion. You just like you want to stop it, but you just can't. And then at that point, I was just
too much fun.
I was just shocked. So it's disgusting, really.
Go on, get on to the D&D stuff.
We'll talk about D&D because now we're also now part D&D podcast. Ben
we like it or
Syme
not.
at Scientologist. The D&D chat lads. I tried to stop and think to myself, look, they don't know, they're not tabletop lads. But then regardless, comments like, why not say 20-sided dice happened? And I cannot help myself. I mean, I couldn't believe you said that either, James.
What was it? What was it supposed to be? I forgot.
What, D20?
A D20. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you seriously saying you haven't heard of that term before?
I'm not a nerd, Matt. I've not heard it.
Well, I'm not.
Cool guys, too busy smoking cigarettes and slamming birds.
And Diet Cokes.
Yeah.
But
I've never heard that.
Surely,
I mean, come on.
You've heard
if
the term.
if I go to anybody and ask them what's a D20, they won't know what that is.
Yeah, but this is a video games podcast, James. None of us are normal.
Yeah,
well, yeah, obviously.
I mean, I bet even Dave would know what D20 was.
I bet he doesn't.
Yeah, probably.
I'd be very surprised if he
does
did.
now. He
Well, he
talked
does
about it
now,
last
thanks
week.
to us. We've educated everyone, so it's fine. Everyone's on the same
Everyone now
level.
knows what D20 is, so tell your friends.
Yep.
James didn't. Anyway, we're still on D&D. Isaac Gilmore's messaging. Lads, being a big fan of D&D, and after listening to the last 2 episodes, I've come to the conclusion that you lot need a kick in the bum to get you all into it. I'm fairly positive that once you get started, you'll never look back. So there is a new starter set type thing coming out next month called the Essentials Kit. It's pretty much all you need to start playing. He said he'll send us a copy, but his own condition is that we stream a good long game, like 3 hours plus. The kit is designed to work well with small. Hang on, James. The kit is designed to work well with smaller groups and even one-on-one sessions, so 3 players will be fine. When you pick characters, make sure you learn all their abilities and spells, so the DM doesn't have to do all the work. There's plenty of videos and resources. Blah 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 blah. You know, it sounds very, 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 very in depth. But thanks for that email, Isaac.
I mean, because I've checked, it's like 17 quid, so. Don't worry about it. It's very kind of you to offer to send us one, but like we'll just split it, I think. Plus, then
who's going to be the? Okay, I'm assuming DM is Dungeon Master. Is that right?
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
You nerd.
Why don't just say Dungeon Master
nerd.
then.
It's going to have to be
believe
Sean,
you
isn't it?
know
Because
what a
Sean
thing
actually knows
means.
what this game is about.
Yeah, I suppose it's going to have to be me, isn't it? That's fine.
That's
Right,
true.
right.
Because I'm not gonna learn
We
that.
still haven't got a straight answer out of Dave as to whether or not he's interested. I know he's listened to the show and he's just not engaged with this at all. So I think maybe that's a no.
No, it's a yes. It's a yes, of course. He won't be able to resist. Yeah, Isaac says here, whoever the DM is has the hardest job as I have the most to learn. But if you do get right into it, PDFs for pretty much everything are available and they're trove on it. So, yeah. But he has a PS. When Dave comes back, you should keep Sean as the main host. Keep Sean as the main one and host. Just had to say that at the end. So
I was hoping you weren't going to read that out, to be honest, because I felt incredibly awkward.
Little dig. No,
incredibly
it's
awkward.
fine. I'm just fanning some flames. That's a vote for Sean. We're going to end on Zoe Hardwood's lovely email.
One vote for Sean.
Sorry, what's that, Sean?
I'd say, just one vote. Just put that on the scoreboard.
It's 1-0 so far. Again, I haven't seen a single email about Dave, so it's all good. We're going to end on Zoe Hardwood's lovely email. Here it is. Hello, lads. Apologies in advance for soppy email, as it's not intended to be read out, as it's just praising you guys, basically. I know it makes you uncomfortable to read that stuff. Well, apart from Matt, maybe who bloody loves it. Do I put that? Is that
You just
what it
soak
seems
it up
like?
like a sponge, mate. You can't get enough of it.
That's not true. It's just I get the most shit. So any sort of praise, I'm like, I'm just holding on to it like a dear child, like my own child. Anyway, I'm a 30-something-year-old mum, and my peer group is other 30-something-year-old mums. Unfortunately, none of them seem interested in gaming, so I guess that makes me the weird outsider. I'm lucky enough to co-lead a gaming clan on PS4, Destiny, and am so able to have more contact with more like-minded people. That being said, your pods enrich my life so very much. Each week, I get to sit down, listen to you guys chat and laugh and squabble, and it makes me feel more part of a community and not so much an outsider. Thank you for the wonderful content. Thank you for the Twitch streams and the side projects you do. Bell's Kitchen is a banger. Just thank you for making me feel at home and among friends when I find that so hard to do in my real life. Thanks for letting me be natural.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, well,
It's really
thank
kind.
you, though. I mean, we absolutely love reading and getting these sort of emails. I mean, we get a lot of appeals saying, that it means a lot to them and it sort of helps them get through a day and stuff.
Don't
so
say that,
yeah,
mate. Come on.
What?
You don't have to say that. This is really nice. We don't have to keep saying you got loads of them and stuff. It's too much.
okay, but this is the first email
It's
I've
great
ever
email.
received.
We get these all the time, so it's really not that special.
I'm sick of it really clogging up the inbox. It's like, anyway, I just wanted to read it because it's really nice and we really appreciate you, Zoe. So thanks. That's it for follow up and feedback. It's at Computer Game Pod if you want to tweet us some feedback or whatever's on your mind, or you can email podcast@thecomputergameshow.com.
James, you know in Splatoon and how it's supposedly like non-violent, right, compared to like other shooters, because it's just paint and stuff.
Yeah.
And yet, I feel like no one really pays enough attention to the fact that actually you shoot your opponents with ink to the extent that they actually explode.
Yeah.
Like it like just covers because obviously they have their own ink, but when it's like the other team's ink, it's somehow they're like, I don't know, it's like they're allergic to it or something. And obviously it just covers them, and then they like burst. Like they physically burst apart, and then the other team's ink just goes everywhere, which sort of implies that as well as covering them, it's also like filled them up from the inside to the point that they just blow apart completely. And that's quite horrific. And yeah, basically that's I want to feel like that as you deliver the news this week.
Okay. So what you're saying?
Pump me full of ink.
So what you're saying is you do want me to pump you like so it's just you're full up. So you're like full up so that you just explode like all over the place.
Yeah, basically. It's like I'm allergic to it to the point that I just swell up.
Yeah. You become sort of engulged and then
explode everywhere. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, basically,
God, that was disgusting.
It's been Gamescom this week, and okay, there has been some stuff that's happened. It's not terribly interesting. I'll be honest.
Good to know.
I've not this news right. I'm not very
more news programs should open with that.
I know, but I'm not terribly
some stuff's
enthusiastic
happened
about any of this stuff because I don't think it's that great. Any of it, to be honest. I mean, we'll get to that bit in a minute. But anyway, so the first thing I think is probably worth looking at is that Nintendo had their Indie World presentation where they showed off a whole load of stuff. I mean, I saw 2 games here that I thought that looked interesting to me, and a lot of other stuff that I don't know anything about, but maybe it'll be good. So, what do you want to do? I mean, should we just go through what we thought we liked, or because I don't want to go through every single one?
I mean, to be honest, I'd need to just re-watch the whole thing again because there was so much of it, and I'm just looking at a list. Okay, so personal highlights. So Risk of Rain 2 coming to the Switch. That's huge because the first one was really good.
So this one is now 3D or
yeah.
So it was just 2D before 2D side scroller.
Yeah, so before it was pixel art and and this one's 3D. Did you either of you played the first one at all?
No, I heard of it, and I knew
really
some
good.
people loved it, but I didn't even know what sort of game it was, let alone what it looked like.
So I just open this up, and it just says it's a third-person roguelike. I have now closed my tab.
There you go.
I will never open it again. What's your beef with roguelikes?
I just don't like them. But go on.
Basically, so you've crash landed on a planet, and so you pick a character who has a weapon and an ability, and then basically you just run around killing enemies, getting experience, and finding more items that give you new abilities. So pretty standard roguelike stuff, but it was just proper good fun, and the fact that this one has moved to 3D is really interesting because obviously that's quite a big deal because the first one had really decent art style and stuff. But the second one's I think it's been on early access on PC for like 6 months or something.
Oh, what the sequel has, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe the feedback has been very good. I just hope it runs all right on the Switch. Mm-hmm. It's becoming more of an anxiety these days when they just announce this game that looks really nice on PC is coming to the Switch, and you're like, okay. What else? Freedom Finger. Did you guys see this?
I watched the whole thing.
So this was because this first got shown at the Kind of Funny thing. Sorry, Dave. Over E3, and it looked really good then. Again, it's just like a 2D shooter, but it's all music based, and the trailer uses a song by The Sword, and it's cool as fuck. Creature in the Well still looks amazing. The sort of, it's like a pinball game, but you're running around hitting a ball at enemies and stuff. And solving puzzles. That looked really interesting. What the Golf is coming to Switch.
What the Golf was amazing.
That was good. We played that at Res, didn't we?
Was it Res?
Yeah, and obviously I would probably have been happy to play it on PC either way, but for you guys, it coming to the Switch is way better. So yeah, really excited about that. Skater XL, which appears to just be Skate.
It does. I mean, I looked at that. I've got written down here because it said this looks like a PS2 game. Like when I saw that,
Does a bit. There was like no lighting. It was all very sort of flat looking. But to be honest, if it's got that control scheme, I don't think I mind, because I know there's that other one which was like, what was it? What was it called? The project. Oh, Session. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I played. There's like a free alpha of that you could just download on PC, and the control scheme was different to EA's Skate, and I was a bit like, just make it the same, guys. I don't need you to try and strike out, do something different. EA aren't making skate games anymore, so I will take a straight up rip off at this point. I don't care. So I'll be interested to see how Skater XL.
Yeah, I just want a good skating game.
Exactly.
It might have looked PS2-ish, but I mean, I didn't think it looked bad. I mean, it's like maybe lighting and stuff, but I'll take it like a cut down Skate or cut down Tony Hawk's. I mean, if it controls well, like they kept mentioning in the trailer, it's like fully physics based, no two tricks are the same. Because of the way like you might move the sticks for your weight to shift and how you land on the board and what angle and whatnot. If each trick does feel unique depending on how you land or move the sticks, and I'm well up for that.
Exactly. I don't really mind how it looks as long as it's got that same feel to it. Skate had. I'll be well excited.
I have never played a Skate game. Why are they so good?
So you played a Tony Hawk's game, yeah?
Yes, I played those. Yeah.
Where it's you hold a button and release it to jump, and then ollie, and then all your tricks are just on different buttons basically. Whereas Skate was, the first one was just your left stick is your body and the right stick is your feet.
Right.
So to do an ollie, you hold the stick down and then flick it up for forwards, and then you would do an ollie. But then to do a kickflip, you would hold it down. And then, hang on, I'm going to forget. So you'd pull it down and then flick it up to the right. So it's like you're shifting your weight back and then kicking the board up whilst also pushing it to the side, if you get me. And then it would get more and more involved as you got to harder tricks. So it was just this really beautiful, tactile feeling to it. It just properly felt like you had this relationship with the board rather than it just being push buttons to do tricks. So that's why it's properly captured a lot of people's imagination and why everyone's still really sick that we're not getting a fourth one for whatever reason.
Why is that? Did it not sell well? Did no one care? Or what's the deal?
I don't know, because they made 3 of them. I honestly think because the third one was great, but possibly not as good as Skate 2. I think most people agree on that now. And I think there was a sense... So there was an early mission in Skate 3, you literally jump over a shark. Which I think maybe was an intentional comment from the developers, saying look, I don't know what else we're supposed to do with this now. This is it. So I don't know. But then if it made money, EA wouldn't accept that as an excuse, would they? It'd be like, no, fuck you, you're making another one.
But you'd also be thinking, it's okay, maybe this can't be like an annualized franchise or whatever, but at least put one out on the new consoles or whatever, if it's good.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd think so. And the other thing was... So it had this skate reel thing, so you could save replays and upload, edit them and then upload them, which obviously at the time Xbox 360 days was pretty groundbreaking. But now it's you wouldn't even need to implement that because that exists in the infrastructure anyway. That's not even a thing you'd have to put in, which is doubly annoying because it's and that stuff would be even easier to share now than it ever was. So that'd be really cool. But yeah, for whatever reason, EA aren't doing one. So, as I say, I will happily accept other people having a crack at it, even if it is literally the same thing.
Yeah, so you got Skater XL, so it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, shame it's not out till 2020, but still looking forward to that.
But are there any others that you guys were particularly taken by?
There was 2, as I said, that I thought looked interesting. I liked. Is it Roki? Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure.
They pronounced it slightly differently, didn't they? But I can't remember how.
So is it Rocky?
Yeah.
We'll
stick with. It was I don't know. Say
Rocky
for now.
That looked right up my street. I mean, it's kind of exploration, making friends with animals, all that kind of stuff. That looked good. And also the other one called The Tourist, I thought looked interesting.
I was mentioning Tourist. Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it looks lovely, but it's all puzzle solving, exploration. And the art style looked fantastic as well. But that was about it. I mean, they were the only 2 that I saw that I thought. I mean, what about Eastwood though, Matt? Are you not into that? Because that's Stardew Valley. It looks like.
Oh shit! That was great.
I mean, as soon as it said Chucklefish Games, I'm like, well, this is a day one, clearly. Yeah. So no. I mean, I'll need to see more about that, but it's going to be good because it looks Stardewy and it's Chucklefish. Yeah. I mean, I thought loads of those games look good. I mean, I was with all these indie things. Every time they come out, like 95% of the games, look great,
look really cool,
and makes me want to get them. And like, this was called Nintendo's Indie World. Like,
they sort of rebranded it, didn't they?
It's not Indies.
Is this maybe like are they called Indie Worlds when they're E3 or Gamescom and normally they're just like Nindies, or do you reckon they've rebranded all of them to Indie World? Do we know really what the deal is?
I have no idea, and it's not like it was so different that it was like, oh, okay, they're trying out like a new format or anything. It was pretty much business as usual, wasn't it? Just with a different.
I know not everyone was a big fan of the term Nindies, but I
was all right with it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, other games, Super Hot has come out on Switch. I mean, it's out on every single platform.
Already out.
I didn't really care about this.
Super Hot feels like such a VR game now.
Yeah,
and they're not VR. But...
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, like, now I've played that in VR, I don't think I could imagine playing it not in VR, because that's what felt amazing about that game.
Exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, obviously the original, being able to play it out and about, that is cool. But yeah, having played the VR one, I think the original game would seem quite limited in comparison now.
They also had there's Hotline Miami. Obviously, it's out now. I mean, that's probably good. But I mean, I already own that, and it's how much? It was like £23 as well, I think, on Switch as well.
Yeah, for both, isn't it?
Yeah,
1 and 2. Yeah,
which is fair enough. But I mean, I already own it, so I don't think I'm going to bother buying that again. Because didn't you say the second one's not that great anyway?
I heard it was nowhere near as good. Yeah. There was nowhere near the amount of buzz around it and stuff, was there? It just sort of appeared and then went. Apparently, there were a lot of sections where, there were rooms, like massive rooms, like bigger than the screen, with people with guns at the other end. So sometimes you just walk into a room and get shot by someone you couldn't have possibly known was there. Stuff like that. It's a shame, but apparently the story gets much more involved. Whereas in the first one, it was sort of it was trying to say something, but it was pretty bare bones. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to bother.
No. What do you think, Matt? Have you played Hotline Miami? I can't remember.
I played a bit of the first one. It seemed good, but at the time I didn't really go any further with it. I mean, I know loads of people say it's amazing, but I don't know. It doesn't really do much for me right now. I mean, I know, sure, because I liked APAL, and APAL wasn't spectacular, so I'm sure I'd love Hotline Miami if I really put time into it. But
yeah.
I don't want to spend £23 on a collection on Switch.
No, so there's plenty of those on Switch, aren't there? There's tons of collections of stuff. Yeah. Okay, and then the only other, also they dropped Ori, didn't they, in the Blind Forest right at the end as being like a.
Oh yeah.
So are we getting? Because obviously this is the first one, and I know the second one's on its way. So no mention of the second one coming to Switch, or have I just forgotten?
Also, is this an indie game?
I mean, it was.
I think so. Is it? Or was it published by Microsoft, or was it? I don't know. I have no idea.
They had exclusivity on it, didn't they? At least, and then now they own it or whatever.
Yeah.
The thing is, so this was Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition, but I haven't really found out what makes it a definitive edition. I don't know what's different about it. I presume you guys don't know either, right?
No clue.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, everyone raves about the first one. I played I played a couple of hours of it. But I'll probably play way more on this. But yeah, it's interesting what you say about the sequel. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be outside the realms of possibility for them to get a sequel out on this, but maybe they're just seeing what the waters are like with this, and then they'll do it. But yeah, this is the second Microsoft game on Switch. Obviously, we've had Cuphead, now we've got this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, interesting.
And I've just checked. Yeah, so it was published by Microsoft Studios, as is the second one.
Yeah, it's not really indie game, then, is it? It's a bit odd.
Well, no, but like Microsoft.
But then you could say that
games.
about. But then, by that measure, No Man's Sky isn't an indie game, and a bunch of others.
Is it about the development team or is it about the publisher? I
don't know. Because who? Yeah, but is it an independent development team then, or is it a Microsoft team now?
No, they're an independent team called Moon Studios. So yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Sounds like an independent game to me. Also, they mentioned I'm not sure if it was in this or some other thing, but we'll cover it now. They showed footage of The Witcher 3 on Switch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obviously, it's tremendously cut down, but But I asked on Twitter, like, is this still good? The game's so good enough that you would take a cut down version, and people overwhelmingly said yes. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
So as long as it's not disastrous, I'm sure it's going to do really, really well.
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't given it a proper go before this, you'll have a very good time.
I bought it for Xbox just because I wanted to see it X enhanced, and it looked stunning, but. If if this is good enough, I'm going to get way more time out of it if I get it on Switch. So I'll be very interested to see. I think actually I haven't watched it yet, but Digital Founder, I think today done like a big performance review of it. I need to watch that really, but it's amazing what they're able to get on the Switch, given how much of a beast The Witcher 3 it really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I was saying when we did the live stream as well, it's nice that they are just showing you a trailer of exactly what it looks like on the Switch version, rather than trying to bullshit it like. They could have gotten away with just showing cutscenes and stuff and then just being like, brackets, not actual gameplay footage or not actual Switch version footage or whatever. But they're just being quite upfront about it. So, fine,
it's like
good.
The old days, isn't it? When they used to have the Spectrum boxes with pictures of C64 stuff on the back.
So it says in Digital Foundry, basically, obviously on console it's 60 frames, but they've taken it down to 30 frames. But it seems from skimming this article, that Digital Foundry really, really impressed.
I mean, I don't remember the PS4 version ever running at 60, so I wouldn't worry. Yeah. Right, what else we got?
Yeah. Okay, so that was the indie stuff, which I thought was good. I mean, I always love seeing those because, as Matt said, there's always something interesting that you can look forward to. Then after that, we had the next thing I've got is the Google Stadia event, which I mean, this was quite... Because I didn't see this live. I watched it back later, but I'd already read a couple of the comments about it. Did either of you watch this as it was happening, or...
Nah.
No, I couldn't watch it live, because I think it was like 5 or 6 o'clock when I was busy.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Sean?
I haven't seen it, no. I mean, I've seen the stuff that's been announced. I didn't watch it, though.
Yeah. So, okay. I don't know what to say about this, because there was
just
pretty
give us
much...
the big major headlines from it.
Well, I mean,
there
headline
aren't any major
is
headlines. That's the problem.
Well, okay, so bearing in mind discussions we've had about Stadia and the concerns that we have, for me, the real headline here was that so Thumper is coming out for it, which is a music game which requires precise timing.
Interesting.
Which is already out on other platforms. Go on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, we'll get to that. And Windjammers 2 is coming to it as well, which is...
already out on other
not
platforms.
Really a fighting game, but might as well be in terms of how you play it and the timing required. So basically, these are two games that, if our concerns are correct, will absolutely not fucking work. But they've made a point of being like, yeah, look, these games are coming and they're going to be fine. So
but the thing is my concerns.
See, I guess
my concerns about this aren't just whether it works or not. It's the fact that I don't see why I would buy stuff on this over a different, anything else.
No, absolutely, yeah.
But with this, James, the reason is because the idea is you can play them anywhere.
Yeah, but you can't, can you? I don't own a Pixel phone.
Well...
Plus, you can already get Thumper on Switch and possibly phones as well. I might have made that up.
I mean... we were talking about this the other night, Matt. I mean, it's like Microsoft are going to have pretty much the same thing as this, probably, by the end of the year, maybe?
Yeah, well, the tests are in September, October, so it can't be far.
And it's like, why would you choose this over whatever Microsoft have got with Game Pass and everything? There's no reason why you'd go for this. I mean, the thing that they showed, I think they were trying to show off, is they showed Cyberpunk, obviously, which was quite funny, because then I was reading people saying, they're stream stuttering and stuff, which is, I mean, that's always funny. Like, if you're watching something like that and they're just like, the stream's stuttering, and it's, that's not good just for a video. Then they had, Destiny 2. I mean, I love Destiny 2, it's brilliant, but, I've just written down here Destiny 2 yawn, because it's just we've already seen all of this stuff. And then the only thing that I thought that looked interesting was they showed, is it called Kine? I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
But then that's coming to everything else as well anyway. And the only Stadia exclusive they had there was Orcs Must Die 3. And
that was weird.
I don't really want to put down 130 quid or whatever just to play that.
It's not a Megaton exclusive, is it?
No.
I mean, I gather the Orcs Must Die games are pretty good, but for that to be the only exclusive they've confirmed so far.
Yeah.
Bit weird.
I mean, Guilt, they said it's
that's true, yeah, because that was in the main...
but even that has its own connotations. Is it time exclusive? How long is it exclusive for? But
yeah.
Yep.
It's probably launched exclusive.
You see, what they've done with this is it feels like they've done completely the opposite of what I thought they would do. Maybe this is going to win for them. Maybe it's going to be great and everyone's going to be playing games on Stadia. But I would have thought if you're going to launch something new, which people are already a bit suspicious of anyway, you'd need some stuff that you can't get anywhere else that is going to force people to think, I've got to try this. Because, I mean, if you think like Microsoft did that, nobody was interested in the Xbox before it came out. There was all that sort of negative thing around, like, oh, it's Microsoft's terrible, Windows crashes, blue screens and everything.
Microsoft's a tech company, not a games company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do? They have, like, Halo. They had something to get people in. There's nothing with this to get anyone in, I don't think. There's no reason why I would buy anything on this over like playing it on PS4 Pro or whatever like that at this stage. It's
like we said, like when Steam first came out, like obviously that's now commonplace and digital distribution is huge and all the rest of it. But they were only able to make us install Steam because we needed it to play Half-Life 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was so they needed that to play. That was the Trojan horse basically.
Yeah. You need a reason to actually use
James,
this.
You just said, well, I'll play on PS4 Pro. Well, no, like the whole point is that you can play this on your laptop, on your phone if you've got a Pixel and other phones coming later. Like, you can't play you can't play your PS4 Pro wherever you want, but you can play this on any tablet or...
Well, I can, because I can just use Remote Play.
Well, yeah, but Remote Play isn't great.
We don't know this is any better.
Might not be either.
Oh yeah, but you seem to think, well, I'll just play everything on a PS4 Pro. Like the idea is you can play stuff everywhere. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, but
anyway,
when am I going to do
this.
that? Like, I don't know when I'm going to even do that.
Well, no, this isn't about you, but this is about the system. The system is you can play these games wherever on any device. That's the benefit. But
you can't play it on any device at the moment. It's just...
we've covered that.
Matt,
I know that.
I hope this is good, but I can't wait for it to come out and see what you have to say on the show.
I will say, right, I watched this, and this just made me angry. Now, I'm like, I've got a pre-order. Well, I've always said I'm going to keep it. I watched this and I thought, I don't know if I'm going to keep it, frankly. I probably will, because basically I'll need to be there day one. I just have to experience this. I want to be opening the controller and seeing what's like, and it's like experiencing it. Even if I just try it for half an hour or an hour, or I need to be there day one, because that's how my brain works. If I'm not there, I'm going to be freaking out in the corner with major FOMO, even if it doesn't work. I've just got to try it. I've got to be there day one. But having said that, I watched this, right, and they are absolutely fucking up big style. What they've done is they thought, okay, well, we've seen Nintendo Directs, we've seen now PlayStation State of Play, we've ignored the Xbox One because those last 7 hours long. We see what these guys are doing. Let's just do that. Game trailer, someone talking who doesn't blink, game trailer. And like that is not what I want. I don't want to see a fucking trailer for Grid. Or Destiny 2. I know what those games look like. I know what pretty much all these games look like because they've been out on other systems. I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but I want to see like the UI. I want to see them showing actual what it's like to go from YouTube to the game to switch playing on tablet or desktop or phone. I want to see like real people. I mean, I'm sure even these demos that maybe these imaginary demos I've got in my mind on video. Obviously, I'm sure they'll be faked in some way, but I want to see these real life scenarios. I don't want to see the
somebody playing on a balcony or a skate park. I want to basically them to get nerdy, and maybe that's not for everyone. But I want to see them say, look, this is what we can see, this is what we can do, this is how it's going to work, this is the UI. Like, I don't want to see another game trailer. I don't care. Show me the system. The system's a new and exciting thing. These games are not new and exciting. They just show me trailers. Well, okay, brilliant. Well, I can play all these on my system. So, what does it matter? Like, who cares? Thumper's a great game, but I have played a Thumper and I can play it on other systems. Like, show me the nerdy stuff. That's what I want to see. I want to see technically how it works and why it's different and why it's cool and why it's new. They're not showing any of that yet. I mean, like, even the UI, and, maybe people are saying, well, maybe the UI is not done. It fucking better should be done, given that we're like 2 or 3 months away. Just show me that stuff. Maybe I'm on my own there, but I want to see the stuff in the background. I want to see how it works.
I know what you mean.
I mean, all they've tried to do is they just keep trying to say, their main message is, it works, please try. It works. It's like, don't worry about it, it works. But then not any other reason apart from that. as to why you'd want to buy it. I don't understand. And also, you're right, Matt. That presenter, the eyes thing was quite scary.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, she didn't blink in 32 minutes.
No, it was really scary actually. Like to points, it was it was quite interesting. But I don't know. I mean, you're right though, Sean. I mean, they showed a whole ton of fighting games, and it is like they're trying to prove that the service works. That's like obviously this stuff's difficult or whatever, but it works and it's fine. But it's like I still think that pitch of like this isn't going to be worse than what you're already experiencing is not a great one. Like, for if you're trying to sell something. I just don't think it is.
But surely that is. If like it's not going any worse, and also you can play it on any device.
No, but you should be like it should be more than that.
If it's exactly how you're playing games now, but you can play them wherever you want on any device you want, and you're not tethered to.
You can't do that.
Well,
you can't.
If you're a certain demographic who's got a Pixel phone and a whatever. But and ultimately they're going to get to a place where you can play it on any device. Like surely that's great. If it's no different from your console, but you're not tethered to the console, you don't have to wait to get home. To play
fine,
it.
But we just need
right?
the thing to come out and to see if Matt finds it good and useful or not. There's no point debating it anymore at this point, is there? It just needs to be released, and we just need to see what it's like in real life.
I cannot wait because it's probably going to. It's just that first weekend is going to be an absolute, disaster.
I know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be like the first couple of weeks, you're going to be saying it's the best thing ever, and how you've been taking it to work and you've been doing all sorts of stuff, and it's brilliant. Give it about, I don't know, a month or so, 2 months, we're going to be saying, well, you played your Stadia recently, Matt? And you're like, no, I've not got round to it. Other games and stuff.
I've already said in this show that I'm not sure how it fits into my lifestyle, but I want to be able to find out because. I drive to and from work, so there's no chance there. I don't commute, and then I'm working, and then I'm coming home and I'm doing other stuff, and I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean,
this is why this makes no sense. At the moment,
no sense for me, but other
But you're the one who's pre-ordered it.
So I want to be on day one. I'm obviously incredibly interested in will it work, will it don't work, and I want to try it. But this is just made me angry, frankly. I'm supposed to be here, salivating over this, and they're not showing me what I want. I don't want to see another game trailer for Super Hot.
Yeah, it's not really necessary at this point, is it?
But you're not showing me why it's different or better or cool or great on Stadia. You're just showing me a game trailer for a game I've played. If they don't, in the next, when's this thing out? November?
Yeah.
I think. November. Right. So we've got, it's end of August now, so September, we've basically got 3 months, right? If they don't start actually showing some real life demos soon, this
worrying, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, I was talking to someone at work saying, why don't they get a streamer to actually, go and actually start streaming this, and people can maybe join in or see an example of what it's like to go from YouTube to the stream, or show us some stuff where they said, you can search for a. I think the example they used was Tomb Raider. You can search a certain puzzle; it'll take you to that point in the video.
Yeah.
Show me that. Does that work? How does that work? Show me the UI.
Show us that stuff working, not as part of an on-stage demonstration.
If they have another one of these, whatever they're called, Stadia, they've got a name. But if they have another one of these Stadia things, right, and it's just more game demos, I'm cancelling the pre-order. I don't give a fuck. They can't be doing this. They need to be doing something better.
See, I don't care about any of the UI stuff particularly. I just want to give me a reason to buy this over what I've already owned. Give me a reason.
Well, how about, James, playing it on any device wherever you want?
That's not enough. That's not enough of a good reason.
Well, then this isn't for you. But that's surely the main.
But that is it.
No, that's surely the whole point of this is do you want to play games wherever you want, or do you want to be tethered to your device?
I'd rather be tethered to my device if it's got games that I want to play on it. And that's the thing, because it's
James, it's got Grid on it from Codemasters. It's getting Cyberpunk on it.
Yeah, great. Okay.
I did see a few people, because obviously Grid it's like a reboot of the Grid series, which has only had 2-3 entries in it anyway.
Yeah.
But whatever. A lot of people are like, they're putting Grid on it, a racing game from 2007. No, they're doing a new one. That's the one that's on
obviously
Stadia.
It's a new one.
Yeah. Right. Let's move on, please. What else we got?
Okay,
James?
so we've had Nintendo, we've had Google, now we've got Microsoft, because we've got. I mean, okay, this is like a grab bag of just pointless news that they've got here because you got no, because it's true.
Well, I mean, as the news guy, it is your job to précis this and just.
Well, that's what I was trying to do. But I was trying to find something from Microsoft that was interesting.
Yeah.
Like that was genuinely interesting.
It's from what I can see, it's all just Game Pass announcements, right?
Yeah. So look, here's what we got. This
also
is
the new controller colours.
Well, yeah, that didn't make the cut, unfortunately, in the news.
Wow,
okay. I didn't care about that. I guess this
I
is
thought
what
you could just make your own controller anyway, whatever colour you want.
You can, but they do like they've done special ones, haven't they?
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the stuff that I did that I just thought is marginally less boring than the rest of the stuff. Okay,
right.
So we've got Game Pass stuff, Devil May Cry 5, Age of Empires, Ape Out, Bard's Tale 4, and Blair Witch are coming to Game Pass. There you go.
To be fair, Devil May Cry 5, I know we said this when the announcement came out, but people keep badgering us that might be on the Game of the Year list, but none of us have played it.
Yeah.
So we've got no excuse now. It's free.
Yeah, I've got it installed. Very excited to try that. Ape Out, I thought was really good. It didn't blow me away, but I thought it was well worth playing, and obviously that's out now. Yeah, I mean, Devil May Cry being out, it's class.
Yeah.
I've just realised I don't think Devil May Cry is on PC. So, fuck.
Unlucky. Yeah. Just buy an Xbox, Sean.
I mean, honestly, well, yeah, just leave it. Fuck it.
Okay.
See, I mean, this is the problem because, like, there is a lot of good stuff on here. Like, Devil May Cry 5, I'd probably like to play that, but that means I've got to switch my Xbox on, and I don't want to bother, is the problem.
Pain.
What do you mean you can't bother to turn your computer game console on? What's wrong with you?
I can't be able to switch my Xbox on. It's just such a
don't
horrible
play the game,
machine
James.
to use.
No one's forcing you to.
I know, it's just such a horrible machine to use, and it's just, I don't like it. I mean, I've got the original
mental
one.
Image of James just pushing the power button, being like, ah.
No, it's just like you switch it on, it's just like, oh, here's another, like, multi-gig update that's got to be done, and it's just annoying. Anyway,
Mom, it's not the right one. It's so slow, Mom. That's the vibe I get from you.
That's what you sound like, James.
Yes.
He's got you.
I mean, you've nailed me there.
Nailed it.
Absolutely nailed me. But yeah,
roasted.
No, I'm sure it's fine if you've got a 1X and it boots up at a reasonable speed. But mine takes ages, and it just sounds awful.
Well,
now.
just turn it on, go and put the kettle on, make a cup of tea, then come back, and then it's ready to roll.
On, James. Even in standby mode, it's taking forever.
I don't leave it in standby mode.
What's your own fault then? Leave it in standby mode like a regular
enough
person.
to bother doing that. It's like, why would I want to waste the electricity? Like on this?
No, because if you look into it, James, actually, it's more electricity for machines to go from off to to on.
No,
and
it's not like a car. That's not a thing.
Well, that's not true. Sean, that's what I've been telling my wife. Like basically, it costs less. It's less electricity to keep things in standby mode versus turn them off and turn them on again. It's like when people
Was that ever the case with CRTs? Because I know they used to say that about CRT tallies. I'm not convinced that was ever true.
It's like, right, when people I see on the train, I want to keep going up to them saying, what the hell are you doing? And I see them, closing their apps on their iPhone, right?
Well, yeah, that is... you don't need to do that.
Here's a PSA, right? Do not close your apps on your iPhone because closing the apps and then reopening when you need them takes more battery than just keeping them in the background, right? If I see any of you on the train deleting apps, I will just smack that phone out of your hand and pop out the window. I want to say to people, like, what are you doing? You don't need to be doing that. I see people could say, Safari, other apps, YouTube, and they're like, just said they're done then, multitasking, close. I'm like, what are you doing? Anyway, is that not the same for this, James?
You're right about that, but you're not right about the electricity.
Have you got some stats? Have you done some Googling?
Not yet. No, not in the time you were talking, but I should have done. But
yes, you should have done.
Yeah.
But basically, if you got the machine properly off, it does take a while to boot up. Probably like 30 to 60 seconds. I don't know how many counted.
It's a bit longer than that. I need to time it because it's ridiculous. But it's all just so slow and I just don't like it. Anyway, Dead Cells is also coming to Xbox,
awesome.
So
hey!
Exciting, I guess.
So I read a really great Philip Mewson review about that. I'm gonna find out what it's like.
Very good.
Okay, yep.
Then there was all stuff about Gears 5. I mean, there's Horde mode, obviously, that's coming back, and the tweak here is that they've got special abilities for each character. Do any of you care Like,
Sean and I talked over the Gamescom opening night live presentation. Yeah, I'm actually quite into playing a new Gears game. I mean, I said on the stream, like the most I played Gears, was it 2 and 3 with you and Dave, James, and Cinnabar and Sto and so on and so forth. And I love playing Horde mode. And I haven't really played the most recent ones like Judgment and 4. But yeah, if Gears 5 comes out and it's got a great Horde mode and a good single player, I'm well up for that. And also it'll be on Game Pass anyway, so it won't cost me a penny to try it. But yeah, I'm well up for a good new Gears game, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Horde mode was always one of the standout good features there. I mean, as I said, the thing with this is that each of the characters has special abilities and stuff, so there's new tactics, that kind of thing. Also, they're getting Halo Reach characters, like a Halo Reach character pack for Gears.
Yeah.
Weird,
so
yeah.
They'll be playable in Horde mode and Escape. Gears Pop, I know we're all excited about this, is coming out on the 22nd of August, so that'll be the day after this pod comes out. Are you going to download this, Sean?
No.
Why not?
This isn't the turn-based strategy one, is it? This is the real-time
thing.
This
is the Funko Pop one. Yeah.
No, thank you. I'm all right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure how the game works. It says on the thing, it's real-time multiplayer, and it's like Funko style, and you mix and match units to build a squad to battle. I don't know what that means, but yeah.
So it'll just be one of those shite phone games where you put some units together and then they just sort of auto battle against each other.
Okay.
And
it's not like a Clash Royale style game. That's what I thought.
It might. I don't know. It might be.
I actually quite liked Clash Royale when it came out. It's actually quite a solid game.
Clash Royale's all right, to be fair. I know a lot of people really rate that auto chess as well, which I haven't tried.
Yeah, I gather it's nothing like chess now, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. Okay.
Still, Gears Pop. Don't care. Sorry.
Well,
I'm sure you'll be there day one, James, right?
That's all I've got for that's all I've got for Microsoft. Was there anything else that they revealed that was interesting? Because I got nothing
that I heard. All I heard was people talking about stuff that was coming to Game Pass, and that's all I'm seeing in the news articles as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the Inside Xbox from Gamescom. I mean, I'd never watched them anyway, to be fair. I really think they need a revamp because it doesn't even make me want to watch them because they're often quite long, and to make them 20 minutes, and I'll probably watch it anyway. But yeah, as Sean says, all the news I really heard was the stuff that we knew about and/or Game Pass.
Yeah.
Okay, then. But one of the things that did come out of it was there was Death Stranding gameplay was finally shown off. I mean, I watched this today. I saw there was 2 trailers I saw, and also some gameplay footage.
I mean, I was going to say gameplay footage, little bit generous. What we saw was a man getting up, having a piss, walking, putting a ladder up, and then we met virtual Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
Who's in the game, by the way. He's
reason to buy,
a character in the game. Yeah. And I mean, calling it gameplay is a bit of a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still, obviously they showed off cutscenes and stuff. I am still intrigued about the story. I just still don't know what sort of game it is.
Yeah.
And I'm getting worried at this point.
Really?
But, well, yeah, because it just looks like it's just walking around. And
I mean, it looked pretty barren, didn't it? I mean, but then that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, that can really work. I mean, look at Shadow of the Colossus. That was pretty barren, but it was still good.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's exciting that a AAA game is so close to release, and all anyone can do is look at it and go, "What?" Like that. That in and of itself is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait for the reviews on this one. I think.
What do you think, Matt?
I'm psyched as fuck. I can't wait. I mean, yes,
but,
it looks
I'm
mad.
looking forward to the Game of the Year show because I'm sure this is going to end up on your list, and I'm sure that everyone else is just going to be just saying you're mad about this or whatever.
I mean, probably, but what everyone keeps forgetting is that MGS5, Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain was a fantastic playing game. It was brilliant.
It
fun.
was, but hardly anyone fucking finished it.
Yeah, did you finish it, Matt?
No, I didn't actually know.
Yeah, no one did. Everyone ran out of steam with it way before.
I loved it. I thought the open world was great. I mean, I guess one major criticism is that it could have been any game. It didn't necessarily feel like a Metal Gear game, but I still thought, I love all that sort of random Kojima stuff, and I have loved every Metal Gear game, so I love all that. All that stuff is great, and the open world sort of sandbox stuff was brilliant. Maybe it wasn't as sort of refined and streamlined as previous Metal Gear games, but I still thought it was excellent, and it reviewed well, and it sold well. And I think a lot of people seem to be forgetting that, just thinking, well, this looks like some Mad Kojima game. Well, the previous Mad Kojima games have played really well.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I am extremely excited about this game. I don't care what the reviews say. I'm going to be there day one. I can't wait. I think we are extremely lucky in the games industry to have someone like Kojima creating this absolutely mad shit. There's no one else really in the industry doing this, and it's.
Is this going to be one of those things where you... Yeah.
I said that in the stream and people kicked off. But yeah, basically, the only one maybe close is David Cage, but he doesn't have the money or the talent or the skill. But he wants to basically doing what Kojima's doing. But Kojima's got he's got the money behind it, and he does know what he's doing. But yeah, there's very very few. There's hardly any other visionaries in our industry. We should be celebrating something like this, and it's absolutely mad.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Good.
So what?
If it's good.
Yeah, if it's good, of course, but he hasn't made a bad game.
I'm sure somebody's going to correct you on that.
Obviously, someone will correct me. Do you not remember? But the previous Metal Gear games have been great to play and fun and looked impressive. And I think people just looking at us thinking, well, what's this going to be?
Do you know what's really thrown me off Kojima? The other week, I was chatting to a friend of the show, Chris Span, and he was like, "Name a single female character in a Hideo Kojima game that doesn't end up dead or sexualized in some way." And fuck me, there's not a single one.
Yeah,
so
that's 100% true. But also, I mean, look at that across gaming, or look at that across...
That's not an excuse, though,
That's
is it?
not-
That's
it's
like
not-
everyone
it's not an
talks about
excuse.
as this like
It's not an
genius
excuse, but
auteur, and
let's look at women across all media. It's just...
It's definitely worse on average.
It is definitely worse. I'm not defending it, but I'm saying it's anyway. Yeah. I mean, obviously there are issues. Just look at Quiet in the Phantom Pain.
Yeah. Did you see? I know this isn't in the news and probably shouldn't be because I know it's just a rumor. This rumor that Konami are just remaking Metal Gear Solid 5 but without Kojima.
Really?
Yeah. And they're like, and it was on one of the fucking chans, on 8chan or something.
Oh god, let's not even give it.
So it's definitely fucking real. But yeah, they're like, oh yeah, they're remaking it, and Quiet isn't, or she's not in it. She's now someone else, and she's fully clothed, and there's all the loads of other weird changes. But but because Metal Gear Solid 5 was such a weird game and basically unfinished in a lot of ways, it's almost plausible. But 8chan, reliable news source.
Well, Konami don't really care about games anymore, do they? Anyway, I mean, apart from re-releasing old stuff.
I don't know what they care about. I don't know what their deal is these days.
Anyway, so yeah, it basically they had this gameplay trailer, this gameplay video, as Sean said in it. They met Jeff Keighley. They also said on stage that loads of Kojima's other mates will be in the game, and I think Edgar Wright was there at the studio the other days. He'll probably be in it. Ollie basically Bring Me the Horizon, the band were at the studio, and they released songs in the past called Shadow Moses. They're clearly big fans, and I imagine Ollie Sykes and the rest of the band will be in the game. I'm interested to see those cameos, but the other trailers they showed, I couldn't take my eyes off a screen. I'm excited to see what these characters are about, what the game's about.
See, that worries me a bit though. The whole there's all these celebrities or whatever in it. So I don't really care about that. I'm just more bothered about the game. And if that's the big focus is about the celebrities.
Well, I don't think it will be the big focus. I think that'll be he's got some celebrities in because he's charming up with in Hollywood and stuff. But I'm not worried about the gameplay because I think that'll be fine. But who knows? I mean, this is they haven't shown too much, but I'm confident, and I'm just so excited to see what this game is. And
and as I say, I've got concerns, but I will be thrilled to be wrong. So,
so both of you, we'll start with you, James. How do you think this game is going to review? Do you have an idea about what you think this will land review scores and that?
Absolutely no clue. But then also, the thing about it is, I mean, the early stuff that we saw, with all the back goo and all that, and those figures in the sky and all that, that really intrigued me. But the more recent stuff, I've not been very interested in at all. It just, why do
you think that is?
I don't know, it just looks really pedestrian and not really that interesting, to be honest. But I don't know.
I will say, like, we had those like mysterious trailers, as you mentioned. I was like, oh my god, what the hell is this? And when they showed the first gameplay stuff at E3, I'm like, oh, it's just a game. I was sort of like, the bubble had burst a bit. I was like, the mystery had gone. Oh yeah, it's a video game, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's good. I know it's obviously a game, but I like the mystery. And when they said, oh yeah, here's shooting, here's some UI elements, here's a menu, I'm like, okay, so it's a game. But
I'm just a bit worried that all the oh look, there's all this weird shit going on with ghosts. It's just going to boil down to run around and watch out for the thing on your shoulder going click, 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 and keep away from the ghosts.
Yeah, and shoot at the weak point 3 times. And
yeah, exactly. So I'm worried it's going to be too gamey. Yeah,
but we'll how do you think? Like, do you have a sense of review-wise what you think it could be or do?
I mean, I think people give Kojima a pass for a lot of bad stuff, but partly with good reason. Like, obviously, he does do some really clever stuff as well. So, I mean, I've no idea. We don't know what it is still, do we? And that is partly why it's exciting, but also why it's sort of I don't know. I think it's pointless to speculate at this point.
Yeah, but I like it in a way because not enough games do this where it's still so much unknown. Like so many games you've seen, like announcement trailer, like a trailer a few weeks away, then like a launch trailer, and by that you've seen loads of the enemies or bosses. You know exactly what the gameplay's like. Like I like the fact on this we haven't seen much. We've seen cutscenes, we've seen characters being introduced, and we're still getting characters introduced now, even as late as Gamescom. And I want to go and not know much. I think that's nice, and not enough games do that. But yeah, we'll see. I'm extremely excited. I'm extremely interested in seeing what this is about, and I can't wait.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
we'll see.
That was that. Then after that, we had just a mini sort of thing, which was that Sony had bought Insomniac. So that's happened.
I think everyone was like, "Oh, did they not already?" Okay,
already owned them. Yeah, because it kind of felt like that. Yeah, so that was a bit odd. That sort of happened in the case. It wasn't odd.
I wouldn't say it's odd. They were extremely first party anyway. Obviously, they did like Sunshine. Oh fuck! Now Sunset Overdrive. Yeah, on Xbox, and that didn't really pan out mostly because it was on Xbox. But yeah, and obviously recently done Spider-Man and stuff. So,
but I mean, this is obviously because this is gearing up in it for the next generation and everything, and the fact that you need like exclusive content if you're going to get people to buy your stuff. I mean, they seem to understand that Google don't. It's odd. But anyway, so I guess probably because Spider-Man did really well.
I wonder if they did this because maybe Microsoft was saying, "Hey, do you want to join us?" Or do you? Maybe they said like, let's just get them now before anything. Anything moves.
Something to that.
Maybe it's something that we're thinking about potentially going. Like multi-platform next generation. So I imagine this is more like, okay, they're ours now. There's no chance of you getting a Spider-Man on your console. They're ours. Or maybe it's a success of something like Spider-Man. It's like, okay, clearly, the next one's going to do, you would think really, really well, given the sales success of the first one.
Isn't Spider-Man all tied in with Sony anyway, with the films and everything?
Yeah, they own it, don't they?
But I think you might be right. It might just be Sony just being like, we should probably own some developers.
Especially the ones that are close to us, which I'm sure Microsoft are probably sniffing around anyway. So
yeah. So
Okay. The next bit we've got is the creative lead for Halo has left. 343 Industries.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is Tim Longo. He was the creative director, and he's been there since like 2013. He was formerly at Crystal Dynamics, but now he's gone, and Mary Olsen has taken over as lead producer for the campaign. So Microsoft has said that this isn't going to impact on the game's release at all, but it's a bit odd.
This might mean it's not as good.
Yeah, well,
that's not fair. It could be one of those situations where whatever he was trying to do wasn't working, and that actually this could be a positive move. And
it could be because it might be better because he was the creative director on Halo 5, and that wasn't great. So this is maybe not a bad thing. Maybe it'll be better. What do you think, Matt?
Oh, well, there you go then.
Yeah, Halo 5 was shit.
And was it shit or was it just not Halo?
It just wasn't very good.
It wasn't Halo. I mean, I've loved every Halo game. This had like squad stuff which wasn't good. The AI wasn't good. It just didn't feel like a Halo game. Oh, it was. I mean, I got through it and I finished it. But I was
like when they first showed, knowing so basically, as far as I'm concerned, Halo stopped with. I mean, in terms of the chronology, it stopped at the end of Halo 3. Like, I loved ODST and Reach and stuff, but they were like, different, set before.
Do you think that? I mean, I thought Reach was like a total return to form. I thought that was fantastic.
No, that's what I'm saying. Reach is amazing, but it's set before. So as far as I'm concerned, the story ended.
Right,
right?
Yeah.
So when I saw a trailer for Halo 5 Guardians, I was just like, no, I don't care why there's loads of Spartans again. And I'm just, no, I'm not interested. Sorry.
I mean, I got through it. I finished it, but it didn't feel like a Halo game in the way I've loved in the past. But they said for this one, it's going to return to its roots and back to basics, which is good things that we want to hear.
Say that, don't they? But hopefully,
I guess, but it fucking needs to, given a Halo 5. Although I think Halo 5 Guardians did have some awesome multiplayer modes. But anyway, I mean, it's not great if the creative director leaves, especially like a year from launch. It's not like he's leaving around launch. Okay, so he's done his job, he's moving on. This is clearly crunch time, the final 12 months, so that's not great. Maybe that's creative differences, I mean, we don't know the reason really, but it's not good. But I guess these things happen maybe in other projects and we don't even hear about them. So
I do love the Microsoft statement. Roles and responsibilities of various team members regularly evolve to meet the needs of a game throughout development. Yeah, but you don't lose the creative director in the last year. Like, that's
they regularly evolve if generally speaking.
Yeah.
Whatever. If the creative director isn't happy about our game, which we really need to do well sales-wise, sometimes they leave. I mean, hopefully it doesn't affect it too much, but it will, because a creative director leads these projects and has, it channels their views into the game development and shapes it in such a way that they feel is right. So a new person will definitely change that trajectory. But I mean, we'll never know because we haven't seen too much to really determine whether there will be an actual change. But this game, I just need this game to be a 10.
Really?
I need this game.
I
want a stunning Halo game again.
A 10. You want to be an actual 10
no
out
less
of 10?
than a 10. Sure, if it was less than 10, they fucked it. And I'm blaming Tim Longo.
Right. Okay.
Well, no, but when Halo, first Halo came out, and I guess Halo, I mean, like, loads of Halos have been 10s, haven't they? Like, that's just, generally, they've been really solid, amazing games.
I know what you mean.
And
they've always been at least solidly really good, like mostly, apart from 5.
Because 4 was all right. Well, I never played it. It was all right, wasn't it?
4 wasn't that great either.
I mean, 4 actually, I played that co-op with you, James and Dave, and like that's the only Halo game. Like every Halo game, I've loved playing. I love this campaign. I've listened to all the cutscenes, even if it's mostly mumbo jumbo. But because I played that with you and Dave in co-op, we just basically talked for the entire game and played the game. And I have literally no idea what that story was at all because we were just chatting about bullshit, probably. Yeah, shame. But I want some stability in gaming. I want to know, every year we know that there's a new FIFA coming out. We know there's a Call of Duty coming out every couple of years. And we also know that Halo games are good. I just need to know that's going to be the case when Halo Infinite comes out. I just need to know. I need to be told and promised, don't worry, Matt, it's a Halo game. It will be excellent. That's all that's all I need. I don't want any more worries about whether this is going to be a terrible game and it's yet another Microsoft exclusive that's gone downhill. I just want some stability, and I need it to be good.
Okay.
10.
Speaking of stability,
would you
any
like
more
some
news?
Yeah.
Yes.
What? No, we've had enough news.
Absolutely.
No,
it's Anthem news. It's special.
I mean, there has been some Anthem news this week. I mean, quite a few people, pointed this out to me. I mean, I was straight on it anyway, because I was...
Yep.
Obviously, because he's got a Google Alerts.
I've got the notifications set up, so, we always know what's going on. So it turns out that Ben Irving, who was the lead producer on Anthem, has now left BioWare. He was also the lead producer on Star Wars The Old Republic, and he's gone.
Okay.
So he was
James. So I mean, I've always believed roles and responsibilities of various team members regularly evolve to meet the needs of a game throughout development. So there's no need to worry about it. And let's move on.
I mean, do you want to hear what he's got to say about Anthem?
Oh, please.
Yes, please.
Okay, so he tweeted about the fact that he was leaving, and he just said, it's fine because he said, I believe Anthem has a bright future. There is a great team working on it, and I look forward to following its progress and playing it from the sidelines. And he hinted that he's moving to another company, but he's gone, and I don't know who's taken over, if anyone has taken over. It's not great news, is it? Like at this stage,
they're just gonna not hire a new boss and just wait for the rest, like the remaining staff, to figure it out. No, it's not great news. Does he say what he's going to do instead?
No, he just kind of hinted that he's going to another company. That he's
doesn't
off.
want to do fucking games anymore. They're for arseholes. Yeah, and Anthem has a bright future. I mean, if you believe that, why you stick around for it, mate? That's no, that's not fair. There could be all sorts of reasons why he's moved on, but it doesn't look good, does it?
Mm-hmm. I think we're kind of done. Yeah, with that.
I think we are sort of done with Anthem, but it just every week keeps surprising us with more bad news.
Yeah, I mean, something else that I don't think is in your list, James, but also the lead producer of the next Dragon Age game has also left BioWare. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I did see that, yeah. That's
so,
man.
Is Fernando Mello, and he's actually the second lead producer to leave the company in as many days.
Jesus.
So that's the upcoming Dragon Age game. We haven't seen much, but yeah, that's so that isn't great either. So the senior people
going on.
I mean, they can't leave BioWare quick enough, can they?
Because that Dragon Age game, that's the game that people were being taken off Anthem to work on, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, God, if that's troubled as well, fuck me, man. BioWare are done.
I mean, this just feels so bad. I mean, obviously we don't know really what's happening development-wise of this, but if a game like, Anthem was obviously clearly massive for BioWare and EA, and that's just been ripped apart. And so now they're probably like shaking. They're like, well, what do we stick with our idea for Dragon Age? Do we start again? Do we carry on down this route? Like, if that doesn't work for Anthem, is it going to work for this? So there's probably like, everyone's probably nervous at a studio, and then it must be horrible over there because I don't know where they're coming or going. I imagine unless they do have like a really strong lead that hasn't left. And they have like a clear vision about what they want this games to be, but it can't be
just
nice
such a
over
damn
there.
shame. Like BioWare was this really good company. Like the stuff that used to come out from it was I used to love all their output, and it's such a shame what's happened and with the way it's just been going. I mean,
it's been
maybe
so long
be fine.
since they've put out a great game.
Yeah,
it's just
and Dragon Age doesn't do well. That's like, I mean, God, I mean, are they even going to be around for another year?
Ooh.
Sorry,
Speaking
James,
of bad news,
I mean,
have you seen this stuff about Game Informer?
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, they have laid off, quote, many staff. Some of whom are currently at Gamescom covering Gamescom forums.
Yeah,
So that's wonderful. That's really
time,
nice news. Yeah.
Weird time to do it.
I was always under the impression that Game Informer just absolutely raked it in because they're owned by GameStop, aren't they? So they get all sorts of tidy deals.
GameStop have troubles though, don't they? They're not in a great shape from what I can understand.
Oh, really? They struggling too? Right. Makes some sense then. I always people are like, people get excited about something getting, it's got a Game Informer cover and they're doing a big thing on it. That's cool. But when people are like, Game Informer said this game was really good. And I'm like, they're owned by a shop that sells games. I don't, I know, I just, slight conflict of interest there. But
I just saw a tweet from Sam White, just saying that he said he was surprised to find out that they have more staff than the entire of the UK's game print media.
That is Sam White doing a joke because he texted me beforehand saying, "Is this mean-spirited or can I tweet it?" And I said it's probably too mean-spirited, and it sounds like he's gone ahead and done it anyway.
He has, yeah.
So... He couldn't resist, could he?
Yeah.
But yeah, so they have like 19 staff. That's how many are listed on the website staff page, but it's not been declared how many have been laid off. But no, that is incredibly shit.
No, it's terrible. Yeah.
So yeah. Right, that's the end of the news then, I guess.
Well, no, there's also Yakuza news. Can I just shove that in? Cause...
are we going to put that?
Let's end on a positive.
Yeah, because that is a good thing because we've got Yakuza 3, 4 and 5 are coming out. 3 is out apparently right now, but I've been checking the store over and over again. It's still not there. So that's maybe they're just tricking me or something. And but then 4 is out, I think it's in October, and then 5 is out next year. And I mean, this is the first time that these, I think it's the first time that 5's come to the West, is that right? Someone's going to correct me.
Possibly,
I mean, you're the fan.
I was going to say, you should know.
Well, no, because I wasn't playing these before, was I? I mean, I've only been playing them since they've been on PS4, but it's just kind of brilliant that they're all on PS4 now, apart from the other one, which was the set in feudal Japan one, which they're still considering.
Yeah, I mean, because I was tweeting about this earlier. It is pretty incredible that a series that started on the PS2 in 2005, and has 7 mainline entries in it, and they're all going to be playable on PS4.
Yeah,
start to finish. That's amazing. It's we've talked a lot about issues that games have with preservation and, being able to play them in future, and like this shouldn't have to be the answer, like to have to fucking remake all of them as we keep going. But that's an incredible amount of work, and what an excellent opportunity for people like me who've always been interested in the series but never fully dived in. Am I going to play them all? Probably not. But it's nice. But it's nice it's nice knowing that I could. So yeah.
It is good, and it's. The some of them have been like slightly modified as well, because there's stuff that when it came out in the West before, they took things out because they thought that people wouldn't be able to understand them or whatever, and they've added that stuff back in. But then there's also other stuff that they've modified and taken out because it's not really very acceptable in this day and age, and that's probably not a bad thing either. So it's it's good. I'm very excited about this.
Aye.
And that's it. That's all I've got.
Woo! Right. God, that took a while, didn't it? What have we been playing? This won't take quite so long. Because we've mostly been playing the same stuff. One of the games we know everyone's sick of hearing us talk about, so that's fine. Right,
I've got a good 45 minutes on Fire Emblem, so let's crack through the rest of it.
Should we do No Man's Sky first?
Let's do that, yeah.
So I keep forgetting what it's called. Is it Beyond, the update?
Yeah. I think
or was that? Yeah. So the new Beyond update for No Man's Sky has come out, and we've all had a go on the new VR mode. I streamed 2 hours of it last week and felt awful by the end. Like, I felt like actually very ill.
Now, Sean, was that because of the VR, or was that because you've had 2 hours of speech to text to speech?
Well, yeah, this is it.
And basically driving your potty for 2 hours.
It did get difficult to separate the voices from my own thoughts after a while.
Mm-hmm. Were you still hearing that voice when you were in bed, like trying to sleep?
No, thankfully.
Can I
but it was just
ask a question about that? About the voice to text thing, right? Is that is that just for No Man's Sky, or what is that?
No, that's
it's on every.
Yeah, so you don't even have to be in VR to do it if you don't want. So if you want to full screen the game but still like be aware of what the commenters are saying.
Why am I not doing that? That sounds amazing. I love that.
Oh, it's not. It's not amazing. It's so I had an amazing time streaming it. Thanks to everyone who watched, because that was hilarious.
It was incredible. I was laughing throughout, mostly because obviously, like Sean can only hear comments, and there was you had loads, like 40 odd, 50 odd viewers. You had loads of people watching.
Oh, nice.
Loads of people commenting, and but obviously you can't determine or discern who's saying what. So, and basically with the amount of people chatting, it was basically. There was barely any sort of gaps between the messages, and you're talking, and suddenly the text to speech is talking again, and you have to stop yourself because you don't want to talk over the sort of robot voice, and it was so funny. I was laughing throughout that whole thing.
Yeah, it was brilliant. That was. It's just, because in the beginning it sounds just like it's the game like doing it to you, and it's just it's just odd.
Yeah. So I had a really good time, and I do actually really like the VR controls. The actual navigating around on planets is not amazing, but then you forget that actually no one's really figured that stuff out particularly well yet. So you can do there's a teleportation mode, so you sort of point where you want to go, and it zaps you around, or there's an actual smooth movement mode. So I was using that, which I prefer.
See, I tried that with the Move controllers, but I found the game borderline unplayable with the Move controllers. I hated it, and
I must say I agree. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I played. Go on.
I eventually got back into my ship after I tried to get across there using the Move controllers. Took off and then just nosedived into the thing repeatedly.
Yeah. So weird thing about the flight controls, if you've got it set to inverted, which is correct, with a controller, so you pull down on the stick to pull up, like in an actual plane, it does the opposite in VR, and you have to put it back to normal. Don't ask me why. So yeah,
it's amazing I didn't crash when I first set off on the planet because I was like, "What is this?" And it was just not like I've said this before, but I still think that setting off on the planet for the first time in No Man's Sky is one of the best gaming experiences that I've ever had. Like as like an actual moment. It's definitely it always ranks up there of like really memorable, and felt like haven't we done that sort of thing in the past, and I thought I'm gonna have that again but in VR, so this is gonna be amazing. And I just felt like when I actually got in it and it's like I wasn't really controlling my ship properly, I was like, why does this feel rubbish? And that sort of took away from the moment really. But the cockpit controls with move controllers didn't feel good at all. I'm sure I'll get used to it.
Okay, so I got used to them eventually, but I had a quick go before, like during the day when the update went up, and that was fine. But then when I was playing it on stream, I got a weird bug where whenever I got in the ship, my hands were massive, and and like nothing was like quite in the right place. It was like all the joystick and stuff was like too low down in the cockpit. So that was weird. It was like all the scale had just sort of gone wrong. So I don't know what was happening there. And people in the chat were saying they were playing it and like their hands were tiny and stuff in certain circumstances. So that was weird. So yeah, definitely a problem that he's dealing with. I know that they've been like putting out loads of patches all week and stuff. So maybe that's not an issue anymore. But yeah, so that was a thing. But when it was working the first time, I thought it was okay. But yeah, I mean, as much as I enjoyed it, I don't think I'm going to play it in VR again. Just because it's, as I say, from a health standpoint, it wasn't. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do a long session of that, I don't think. It was very cool, like especially for the stream. Everyone was like demanding that I do dabs and stuff.
That was
just great. Having a little dance in the ship when 65 days of static kicked in, stuff like that. That was great. But yeah, like I'm because I was so sort of involved in sort of learning the VR stuff in that 2-hour session, I couldn't tell you what the new normal stuff is. So, like, I know there's the Nexus, the new multiplayer area, which we spent about 30 seconds in and then it crashed. But once that is a bit more stable, I'd be keen to do like another stream with you guys, but just not in VR, and find out what the rest of the new stuff is. But I mean, were you guys just not keen on the VR stuff at all then?
No, I liked it. I mean, I probably would go back and play more of it that way.
Okay.
I mean, it didn't make me feel sick, but the resolution obviously isn't great. And it's not, yeah. And
I did find, in as well.
I've been playing it for about an hour, I think, and I did start to get that feeling hot, like feeling that you get from being in it.
Yeah.
And like the sort of blurred vision a bit when you take it off, and it wasn't that wasn't that good. Mostly, I mean, the stuff in space is fantastic because you don't obviously notice that, but when you're down on planets, it looks a bit rough. And it was I found it much more controllable once I had the once I was starting to use the DualShock again. And it was also, I mean, just on smooth movement, it was absolutely fine as well. And that's weird because normally that makes me feel quite uncomfortable, like, walking around with smooth movement. But it was absolutely fine in this, which is kind of odd. But I did find it felt significantly more immersive as well, like playing it in VR, even though it was sort of pixelated and didn't look so great. But I don't know if I want to play this game for very long because this game depresses me a bit. Yeah. So what? This is going to sound really stupid and odd.
Go on.
It's the pointlessness of this game kind of depresses me, and because it reminds me too much of real life, in the sense that one of the things. One of the things I like about games is I like games which have like strong narrative and stuff like that, where there's a reason why I'm doing stuff. And that's like you're trying to fulfill something or whatever. With this, it's like, yes, there are objectives and things you can do, but it feels like, why am I doing this? Like, there's no narrative payoff really for whatever you're doing. It's like,
there is. There's a story now.
Yeah, but the narrative, but it's crap though, isn't it? And it's like, it's like any
I wouldn't
story.
say it was crap. And like, if you got involved in the base building stuff,
yeah, but exactly. But what am I building these bases for? Like, what's the point?
To survive.
Yeah, but for what? For what reason? And that's what I mean. It's the same as real life. It's like there's ultimately no point.
Why am I building this? Why am I building this house? Why am I buying this house?
The experience in and of itself is enjoyable.
Yeah, it's about the journey, not destination, James.
But it's also about like, because what I find, I've definitely said this before, and sorry for repeating myself, what I find really fascinating is obviously No Man's Sky came out and it was like, look, it's a game about traveling. And then everyone sort of went, yeah, but that just means like each planet just feels really disposable. Like it's just a resource point to be exploited and then you move on. So then when they added base building, it was like you were traveling around like, right, I want to pick somewhere to live. And suddenly that made it way more interesting. Every planet you were like, okay, so these like resources are abundant, but actually the animals are really aggressive. I don't know. Or this planet's great, but it's freezing cold, but actually it's quite beautiful, or whatever. It was like you sort of realised you had, like, even though you didn't know it, you had this list of like things you were looking for in a planet, and
you see,
and that was really cool, and I like that. But I mean, yeah, if you're not going to enjoy just building a base and having a little home, I mean, bearing in mind, like, you now have the added thing of like you can build a base and then invite us to it, and we can all party at your space house and go ride around in vehicles on the planet together. I think together, that's the thing. But
you see, if in the, I mean, I don't know because I've not obviously played this very much. If you can like build trade networks with people, form alliances and stuff like that, so that it feels like you want to build this stuff because you're doing it to achieve something, where you're trying to expand your empire or something like that, that kind of thing. That interests me more. But where it's just like, okay, I can just build stuff on a planet. Okay, great.
James, trade networks. Do you want to turn us into episode 2? Why do you want to work like trade agreements and treaties?
Star Wars.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing though. You see, I like there to be like a reason to do stuff, and as I said, all games ultimately there is no reason to do any of this stuff. There's no point. Like,
you need that to be hidden.
Yeah, exactly. I want it to be hidden, and I want it to be like make it feel like there's significance to this. And
I think something like No Man's Sky, you've just got to enjoy the exploration and the base building for what it is. I mean, if you don't, then you are going to be
James, isn't the point that we're
unfortunately.
all insignificant compared to the universe and?
Exactly. But I don't want to be reminded of that all the time.
It's not in my free time.
Exactly. It's depressing enough as it
just
is.
a speck on one of a billion planets and a billion galaxies. It's all about your journey and getting from A to B. It's not about you and the wider universe or galaxy.
But that's where story adds significance to stuff. And I mean, sure, with this you can create your own story. I completely get that. Like the fact that you can build your own narrative like in your head or whatever for what you're doing and why you're doing it and everything. But there's lots of games like that, and it's just I'm not sure if I can be bothered like with this, because I mean, there's an awful lot here that you can do as well, and it's quite complex, and it's just this feels like something. If I really wanted to get into this and I really wanted to have a good time, I'd have to put a lot of time into this, to make it that to happen. And I just don't think I'm in a position where I can do that at the moment to make it worth my while.
Fair. Yeah. No, I can see that.
So when this game first came out, people were complaining that there wasn't really enough to do, and now you're saying there's too much to do.
Yeah, there's too much and not enough reason to do it.
Stop, Hello Games, just stop updating this game, please. In fact, go roll it back a couple.
Too powerful. Stop it.
It's too much to do.
So I was going to talk about this after Fire Emblem, but it's sort of a neat segue, really.
Oh, I'm still talking about No Man's Sky.
Okay, go on then.
I obviously played in VR, and I played enough to basically fix my ship and then get off the planet and then land on another one. I think VR, I was like, I love space, as we covered on multiple podcasts, and I've enjoyed No Man's Sky, so I thought, wow, this is going to be not a holy trinity, because that's just 2 and rather 3, but I thought it was going to be like an amazing combination of both my love of VR and space, and No Man's Sky. Actually, that is a trinity. But I don't know, I felt sort of cold actually. The VR didn't really give me that big whoa like moment that I thought it would. I don't know. I
know what you mean. There's a weird lack of scale when you're on the planets,
and like VR is all about the scale. It's seeing massive mountains or creatures or whatever. It's like, wow, you really almost you take a step back, you think this is amazing to see this, even if what I'm seeing is like a really poorly rendered monster or building. It doesn't matter. Like, wow, you really feel like you are tiny compared to this. And like, I don't know, I just didn't really feel like there's no real excitement or scale. Like for a VR game, it's really weird. I didn't really have that moment. And like, genuinely,
I know what you mean.
in anything in VR, you could be standing in like a bog standard room. You're still like, oh, this is pretty cool. It feels like I'm in the room. But I didn't have any of that with this. I don't
Matt,
quite understand why.
Were you playing first person or third person?
First person, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Because I thought, it doesn't make sense if you do it in third person, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I landed on the planet. Like, after turning around, I was like, okay, cool, I'm on this planet. And I was fixing my ship and stuff. But yeah, I never really had that moment. And I guess when I eventually took off and I could look to left and right in my cockpit, I was like, it's cool. But I didn't have that big fucking hell, this is amazing, which I thought I would do. I don't quite know why there was that disconnect. But
shame.
yeah, control wise, I was playing with the Move controllers and I found it really, really tricky. I know there's constant tooltips on the screen to say, look at your left hand, point with your right hand, this, that, and the other, to look at the various menus. But even after hour and a half or however long it took me to fix my ship and get off the planet, I still feel like, okay, what do I do? My left hand, right hand, and obviously just try either
some
one.
Things,
but it didn't feel
some
intuitive.
Things are on your. Some options are on your multi-tool and some are on your left hand, aren't they? Which takes a
it didn't feel intuitive. I mean, the good thing was that I didn't have any shaky movement. My hands weren't shaking and flying everywhere. Like, they were solid, they were rock solid, and so I didn't have issues sort of pointing to my left hand or right hand to see the various menus. But that basically never felt intuitive. And actually, although I was playing with the moves, I actually sort of wanted to just grab my DualShock and maybe you can play with DualShock in VR, can't you? Or can you not?
Yeah, I think that's James. Is that what you're saying? You did?
Yeah.
Okay. So
how
I
does
think
that
I'll try
work
that
exactly?
because with two moves, I felt like everything was taken just far slower. I know you can look at materials on the ground, whatever the things you can collect on the various planets. You can basically point to it and basically pull back, and you grab that. And it's like that was a cool control method. But I just felt like I was really slow going the menus and doing this.
It definitely slows you down. Which I'll accept that in exchange for the the extra immersion, I guess. But yeah,
and I got into there's one thing where I had to go in one of those containers where you go in and I had to pick something up to get my ship to work, and I went up to this machine and I was like, oh cool, I'll move my hand out to point or grab the machine, and there was none of that interaction. I'm not expecting me to. Well, I guess I was expecting me to if I move my hand out forward and touch this display in front of me, maybe that'll activate the display. But no, my hands went through it, and actually it was still using the controls or interaction methods that you might have done if you weren't in VR at all. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, that's a bit disappointing. And a big thing with VR is it surprises you and really lends itself to make you feel immersed. If you do something, you think, oh, is this going to work? And wow, it does work. How I expect it to work in real life. And because it wasn't doing that, that was another disconnect.
Yeah,
and maybe that's why it affected my believability in VR, I guess.
When we talked about London Heist in PSVR worlds, even though yes, it's very on rails, but everything you look down, you look down at a table. Oh, there's a cigar on the table. I wonder if I can pick it up. Oh, I wonder what happens when I pull it to my face and inhale. Oh, it makes the little crackling sound as if I'm actually inhaling this from a cigar. And then if I breathe out again, it blows the smoke out. And it's all those little interactions add up so much to just making everything seem believable, and it's so easy to shatter that. And and obviously with a game like No Man's Sky, of course, it's a nightmare to try and get all that stuff right. Because if your game isn't super on rails, then people are obviously going to try all sorts of things, and then in the second that something doesn't work, you're like, oh, this is shit. It's that must be a nightmare. But yeah, it's little things when you're just trying stuff out and it doesn't just quite work as you expect, it does just break that immersion a little bit.
Yeah, you can really tell this is a game that had VR added to it rather than a game built for VR.
Yes.
I can't complain. I mean, it just is what it is. But yeah, I didn't really feel that immersed, which I really surprised me. But it is, I enjoyed it. I wanted to actually definitely want to go back, but I'm not too fussed about going back in VR. Maybe I'll give it one more go, but yeah, I thought this was a no-brainer. Space and VR, so this is going to be the one. Maybe if I play more, I'll get used to it. But it didn't really connect with me the way I thought it would. But it's still really cool.
I should say, you're saying you're really looking forward to that experience of taking off the planet again and it being incredible. I fully got that in VR.
Oh, okay. Amazing,
absolutely loved it.
I would have done if I hadn't just nosedived into the planet immediately. Probably been better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do that, but I was saying like fighting with the controls, and it was cool to do. And maybe next time I'll enjoy it a little bit more if I got a better grasp on the controls. It is really cool though, seeing how well how much this game has developed and changed. Like there's like a massive onboarding process now with all the things you do on a planet, and that lasts actually for hours with you, still like onboarding you when it comes to like going to different galaxies and looking at maps and this that, and the other. So it's constantly, and I'm building bases. So it's amazing seeing the progress, and this must be like the 5th or 6th time I've deleted my save file, started again, because I want to see how the onboarding is and how it works. No, I mean like, the new update looks fantastic, and I do want to try, especially like the co-op stuff with you guys.
Definitely. But, I don't think we'll actually achieve much, but it'd be funny. So.
Yeah, just to see each other on wave. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
So that's No Man's Sky.
That is No Man's Sky. Let's just do Fire Emblem. Let's do it. I mean, I haven't got much to add other than I might have to ban myself from playing this because I am now well into my second playthrough. Like I started the second playthrough thinking I'll do it on the harder difficulty and it'll be fine, but and I'll pick a different house, but it won't it's not going to be that different, and I'm just going to do a few hours and then be like, yeah, do you know what? I want to go play something else. Nah, I'm still like fully addicted to it. Playing it on the high difficulty is really engaging. I feel like I'm thinking about it way more than I was the first run through. I'm really interested about what's going to happen because I've picked a different house this time, and it's really fascinating. Because you sort of, obviously in the first half of the game, you pick a house, and then most of your interactions are just with the people, with the students within that house. But obviously I've played it through to completion with one particular house, and now that I've picked a different one, I'm sort of meeting characters earlier on and being like, I know what happens to you in the second half, and I know how you end up, and it's sort of really interesting seeing how that might happen. Or maybe it'll be different because I've picked a different house this time and things will play out differently. So yeah, I'm well into it.
So Sean, who did you play through as for your first playthrough?
So the first playthrough, I went with the Leicester Alliance, the Golden Deer, yeah.
So who are you doing this time?
And now I'm doing the Holy Kingdom of Fargus.
Right. Is that the Blue Lions?
That's the Blue Lions.
Yeah, because that's who I'm going through with at the moment.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, what you say? So where are you guys up to with it? Are you still well on board, or are you?
I've just got to the bit where it begins to focus. It's like part 2, basically. Where it focuses on just your house, really. To a degree.
Is it when you say part 2, as in after certain major story events?
Yes.
Or yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. So I know where Dimitri's at the moment.
Oh, you're right. You see, because I don't. Because when I first played it through, I was playing as Leicester Alliance, so I saw him in the second half, but there's a whole load of stuff I don't know about. Yeah. So that's really interesting. Sorry, I know this is really cryptic for everyone who's either not played it or not got to this point yet, but I am really worried about spoiling it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Sorry, James, go on.
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm at with it, and it's. Mm-hmm. I mean, as I said, it's mostly the focus has shifted now, and after events that happened, and I mean, I'm still finding that the combat is not really challenging me that much.
That will not change.
And it's and this is the thing, because I've never felt like I've needed to restart any battle at all. It's always, even if I lose 1 or 2 people, it's still doable, every single time. And there is a kind of monotony to this game, I found. But for some reason, I'm still really enjoying that. Basically doing the same thing over and over again, talking to the same people, because the story is interesting enough, and the character interaction is interesting enough that that's absolutely fine. But I also haven't felt the need to really micromanage stuff either that much.
Yeah.
Although I have found some enjoyment in doing that, in forcing people into different classes and stuff like that. That can be quite enjoyable to do. To try and train them in different ways. Yeah. But yeah, it's just. I mean, I don't really have anything more to add about it at the moment. I mean, but I do see where you're going in the sense of I could see myself probably playing through this with another house actually, because I know what to expect to a degree in terms of what it expects of me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you are now also fascinated as to how it works out if you play as one of the other houses.
Yes, particularly one of the others. Yeah, there's one of the others I really want to know. I really want to know what sort of perspective that's got, compared with the one that I'm seeing. It's
exactly.
And also, I think the way that my house is going to be portrayed is probably not great. So that's why I'm quite interested to see how it looks from the other side. So yeah, there is that as well. So looking forward to that.
I'm played this loads over the weekend. I'm absolutely loving it. So I'm about 20 hours in or so, 15 to 20 hours in. I'm nowhere near part 2, at least I don't think so. Nothing's really been mentioned about that. But I'm really enjoying the combination of both the fighting. It's not particularly taxing, but it is rewarding. I'm enjoying that. And then like going back to the monastery and meeting students and stuff. But when it comes to monastery and like the exploration time, I'm basically just looking at all the potential quest markers on the map, going to them and doing those free quests, and then maybe having a meal if I've got time. Is that the best use of my time, or are you guys just eating with your students and not bothering the missions? What are you doing, James?
Well, I do a whole bunch of stuff, so it depends. I mean, I usually follow kind of the trend. Like how it will say like what other people have been doing.
Oh yeah, like the worldwide sort of stats. It shows you like percentage of who did what. Yeah.
I mean, I usually find in the first Sunday of the month, I end up doing all of the sort of free roam stuff where I go and talk to people. I usually do a couple of activities like the fishing and stuff, and like meals, and then obviously the tea parties, etc. And yeah, because then you can also pick up the missions, can't you? That you do like as like battles.
Yeah, I pick them up every time, and then by the time I've done them, I might have run out of activity points or whatever it is.
Yeah, but then I mean, you get loads more activity points as it goes on. I mean, in the beginning, you only have like 3 or whatever.
In the beginning,
yeah, but by the time you got to the end, it's like I mean, at the moment, I've got about 8, I think, at the moment. Which is enough to do like plenty of things.
Yeah,
I mean, How far am I? I mean, I'm at about 25 hours maybe into it, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, I've still got quite a long way to go, I think, with it. But that's generally what I do. And then on the other Sundays, I then just end up doing battles. Or, I mean, only once or twice now I've rested. But that was mostly just to recharge that sword because it's very good, the one that you get. So yeah, it's worth doing that.
I've done a couple of those auxiliary battles as well. Are they just basically to get bits of loot and up and level up?
They're basically to grind a bit, or if you want to like improve, like because what you can do later on, especially, is like because those auxiliary battles get quite easy. So if you've got like 2 units who are maybe a bit under leveled, or you just want to work in their relationship, like you can just do an auxiliary battle and basically just put 2 or 3 units in and just let them do everything, and they'll just get shitloads of experience from it. But I mean, that's when you want to start getting to the sort of grindy micromanagement stuff, which you don't really have to.
No, I mean, you can really, like, from my experience so far of playing this, you can really just, like, auto everything and still kind of win.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff.
Which is a shame. I mean, to be clear, like, I know, Matt, you're saying you're finding the difficulty absolutely fine and good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really happy about that. Like, I don't want to come across as if like I think this game should not have, it should not be as easy as it is. Like, I'm really glad that it's there. It's just the way it's presented. They present it as normal or hard, but it should be easy or normal, if you know what I mean. And then I would have made a different decision when I first started playing it. But I'm absolutely, like, especially with it being your first Fire Emblem, because like as I've said, I bounced off Awakening initially because that is really hard.
I was going to ask, so this is just a lot easier than previous ones, then? Is that the deal?
Basically, yeah.
And you think it's a lesser game for that?
I wouldn't say it's a lesser game, because you can definitely increase like difficulty if you want to. It just, if you go into this in the same way that I went into with Awakenings, it will be significantly easier, like on like a run, which is a bit of a shame, I think.
Yeah, but just basically the second one now on a harder difficulty. So is that a lot more rewarding, or is that also just settles in and doesn't feel that taxing?
No, so now that I'm doing the second run on hard, it's I am finding it a lot more enjoyable because it is more difficult. Yeah, like, I mean, again, you can micromanage it and grind the auxiliary missions if you want to make sure that you've got a bit of an edge in terms of stats and stuff. But broadly speaking, like you've got to be pretty careful with your positioning and really think about your abilities and equipment and skills and stuff.
Okay, cool.
Whereas, you can pretty much, like, it still helps to be mindful of that stuff on the normal difficulty, but it's not like life or death, crucial. So, But yeah, if you're enjoying it, fuck it, man.
I'm absolutely loving it. I mean, like the 2 weeks, basically like launch week or the week after, I didn't really have much time, especially like all the store stuff. But like over the weekend, I just played loads, and I've like played it to and from work because I'm commuting this week. But so yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. It's and I'm glad I am, because obviously I played the mobile one so much. I'm like, I hope I don't just bounce off the home one. But thankfully, no, I'm loving it. And I'm loving sort of getting to know the characters and so on and so forth. It's just really enjoyable. Because
which house were you again, Matt? You're the Empire, aren't you?
I am the Black Eagles.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
That was what it's called. Cool. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I mean, but also you can recruit people from other houses, so it's not even.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm quite enjoying that sort of, talking to someone and then they're like, nah, and then like you've got to skill up in certain areas to then recruit them permanently.
Yeah.
But it's also quite cool. You can have people sort of help out per mission. Or I guess for the remainder of the month, actually, and then you get to see whether they're actually any good, and then you can maybe pursue them and level up in the areas you need to get them on your team full time.
Yeah.
It's a class game. It's absolutely brilliant.
It is really fucking good. Right, what else we got? So basically, me and Matt have got one extra each. I have played. This isn't going to be like definitive review or anything. I've only put a couple of hours into
Sean Bell review.
I know. Graphics. So I've been playing Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, so I never played the first Rebel Galaxy. I think it was on PlayStation Plus. And it was, it was one of these fly around space and trade a bit and mine things. And I think maybe there was some combat in it. But basically, apparently it was fine, but everyone took the piss because it was a space game where you could not fly up or down. Everything was just on a flat plane.
Great. Is it just like space?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I gather it was okay. Like it had its fans. It's like solid sort of 6-7s out of 10.
What? Sorry, why make? You made a space game. You can't go up or down.
I know. Well, they joke about it on. So this new one, you can full 360-degree movement or whatever, and they do joke about it in the FAQ for it. It's just like, oh, you guys who made the space game where you can't fly up or down, did you make it? Yeah. So they do acknowledge that.
Well, I don't care if they joke about it. It's unacceptable.
It's not a laughing matter. So this is a game where you play as a woman called Juno, who's you're a pilot in space. And your husband's been murdered, and you're chasing after the guy who did it. But you've got you've crashed your ship, and you start with nothing. And you start the game in basically a space garbage collector.
Is it garbage or rubbish?
It's trash actually.
You'll love this game, then, James.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
So tonally, it's it's the whole sort of space as Wild West thing. So if you've seen Firefly or Cowboy Bebop, you'll know what to expect. But it is really nicely done. Main character Juno is pretty likable. Takes no shit. But it's just pretty good. And it's basically So all I've played so far has just been doing a couple of story missions, and then in between them, there'll be a piece of equipment that my ship needs to progress the story. So then I've been doing side missions and stuff. And it's just quite a nice little universe to be in. Just going to the bar, talking to people, getting missions, flying out, blowing some people up. There's all interesting options. You can just sort of communicate with any other ships you find in space. You can just give them a shout on the radio and either just say hi or tell them to go fuck themselves or whatever. And the combat's really interesting because it has this system where basically once you're locked onto an enemy, so you can just cycle between all hostiles in the area or whatever, you hold the left trigger and it just automatically turns you and points you at the enemy. Which sounds well. The thing, because on the surface it's surely that's bullshit. Surely that means you don't have to do anything. And then you're like, well, hang on a minute. The bit of space combat games where you're just chasing fucking icons on the the edges of your HUD. Mm-hmm. No one enjoys doing that. It's really boring. So it's it's push button and it does it. And I gather, from what I've read in reviews and stuff, it works because once it starts getting a bit more complicated, people are saying it reminds them a lot of Free Space 2. James, did you ever play that?
No, I didn't, but I always heard that it was excellent.
Yeah, so it's more about managing like what is going on in battle. So there'll be ships that you are supposed to protect and stuff. So like they know that just being like, here are some enemies, shoot them down, is not like massively interesting in and of itself. So yeah, I gather it gets more involved on that front. But as I say, I've done a couple of story missions where like you're sort of going up to a freighter and like basically trying to scare them into giving up some cargo and then stealing it, and it's all about you have sort of different allegiances of different factions and stuff, and you sort of manage that through the missions you do and the missions you take and stuff, and how like some missions will get you better rank with the cops or pirates or whatever. So yeah, I'm only a couple of hours in, but I'm like properly excited about getting further into it. Like my only real complaint is that like the ship you start with, I don't know if this changes when you move on to other ships, but like the cockpit view, like you can't see a huge amount of like what's actually outside. Like so much of the screen is just taken up by like the interior of the ship, which was a bit weird.
That's half the fun of space games, like looking out the window and seeing the majesty of space.
Like I think it's been done on purpose because, as I say, you start off with this ship that's an absolute piece of shit. It's basically a box with some rockets on the back. So maybe that changes. Maybe that's an intentional thing. There's an external view as well if you want to use it. But like, there's a lot of cool attention to detail in the cockpit. Like if you start taking damage, like your screen starts cracking and like stuff on your dashboards like starts like fizzing and like sparks going everywhere. And like if you take like a massive hit, like your character's arms will like fly forwards and like bang against the front of the windscreen or whatever. Windscreens, no wind in space, Sean. It's just glass.
No, famously.
Yeah, it's just loads of little hints like that you're like, oh god, I feel like I'm an actual person in a spaceship. So similar, like not entirely dissimilar to Outer Wilds, like in that sense of being in this sort of quite rickety, fucked little ship. So that's cool. But yeah, my only real complaint is that like it's so easy you basically just point at an objective in space and then you hold the A button and it just autopilots you to it, but like literally via like a 2-second cutscene. So you get no sense of like where you're flying to or from. They're just points on your HUD that you just point at and then go to them. I don't know if that changes. Like there is like a full galaxy map you can look at and stuff, but I've not had to do that yet. So I don't know if that changes, but that's felt weird. It's just felt like you're just basically magically transporting between these different little pockets of space and then shooting some guys and then going back to the base or whatever. But yeah, I really, really pleasantly surprised by this. Really enjoying it.
Is this PC or console?
So it's coming to console. So I think it's Epic Store only at the moment.
Oh god! But you haven't, have you, Sean? You haven't. Tell me you haven't. Tell me.
Although, well, curiously, so it's Epic Store only, but the devs are just like, oh, by the way, here, like, there's a command line you can enter so that it just runs without bothering the Epic Store. It just runs by itself, like completely standalone. So they've just made that public. So that's weird. Don't know how that sits with Epic, but whatever.
I'm sure they're delighted.
Yeah, so yeah, it's coming to consoles, including the Switch. So that's interesting. Yeah,
and is the Switch going to be able to handle this? Well,
I don't see why not. Like graphically, it's nice, but like you could definitely turn things down a lot, and it would still be a cool and interesting game. I don't think it would suffer too much for it. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing more of this. But yeah, that is me for the week.
Yeah, it sounds good. I'm loving space games at the moment. So
yeah, there's been loads of good ones like out. I was going to say Wild Worlds.
Everyone play Outer Wilds.
Everyone play Outer Wilds. Yeah, sort of, quite happy going back to No Man's Sky and now Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. I'm into it. And then that trailer for Everspace 2 that we saw at Gamescom looked wicked and reminded me that the first one's available on Switch, so that's dangerous. So yeah, space, it's good shit.
Space is good. It's in, isn't it? It is very in.
It is. Matt, you got one more, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I finished Night in the Woods, guys.
Yeah,
it's off my plate officially. I've actually played the game and I finished the game, and I'm not nominated this year for Game of the Year. So get ready.
So what did you make of the ending? Because initially I had no fucking clue what was going on, and then over time it started to sort of percolate and make sense.
Oh really? You didn't have an idea?
No, well, like, and the whole thing about the cult throwing people in the pit.
Yeah.
And May just feeling weird and like she's just feeling weird and fucked all the time and all that stuff.
Yeah, but after that, it is basically explained. They were like, they were worried about. Spoilers, but whatever. They were like, they didn't like the way that the town had changed from its sort of its roots of like mining, and then now it's more like coffee shops and possibilities, and and it is very much about people not wanting to let go of their heritage and worrying that the new world is wiping out their history. Although it was sort of like it was delivered in like a spooky cult sort of way, like I think it's fairly obvious like all the themes of that work.
Yeah, it was just like a couple of days later I was like, oh fuck, it's about like
it's gentrification.
It's about the dangers of nostalgia, I think, or like going too far with it, and how like with May you've got like extreme nostalgia on a personal level of someone being like, why isn't everything like it was when I was a teenager, and why can't I just fuck around doing nothing? And how that can like fuck you up on a personal level because it's just not realistic and it's just not achievable. And then the whole thing with like the townspeople like literally sacrificing people is a metaphor for how like the current situation you've got, like political situation you've got in America and to an extent in the UK, is that like this sort of people like wanting things to be how they were in the past. Brackets. With fewer minorities and stuff. And it's the whole thing
like
with
an imagined
like
past that is
exactly and it's this like I say they're literally throwing people down a pit, but that is a metaphor for the fact that there are people who are willing to throw certain types of people or minorities or whatever basically under the bus so that they can make things how they were in the past
case of
where
like
it was
Brexit
better.
And stuff. Basically like throw the next generation under the bus in order to get back what they see as how it used to be in the inverted commas good old days.
Exactly. I loved the game anyway, and then once that all clicked, I was like, it's fucking genius, like really good.
Yeah, it's excellent. I'm really happy that I did nominate it for Game of the Year in 2017, even if I didn't actually finish it. And when I obviously, if anyone new listening, basically I nominated Night Woods for Game of the Year in 2017. I had played 4 hours. And when I went to play it in the week before that Game of the Year show, my save file had disappeared.
Whatever. This is news.
What? No,
you never mentioned this at the time.
I don't think you mentioned that, Matt.
Yes, I did. Are you guys being sarcastic?
Just revising the whole fucking
thing. No, you guys are being sarcastic, aren't you?
You watched it on YouTube. Like, what happened?
I didn't. No, basically, I played 4 hours, and when I went back to finish it after nominating it, my Steam save file wasn't there, or maybe I moved to a new computer. Either way, there was no Steam backed up online save. Okay. And I basically I haven't got time to start again. Sorry?
So YouTube to the rescue.
Well, I don't actually remember watching the ending. I might have read up on it, but my memory of this stuff and basically everything is so bad that even though I read up on it at the time and tried to explain my way through it, but so it's quite confusing. And now I fully realise why it's confusing, because you really have to sort of play the game to really get your head around it. I didn't remember any of that I read back in 2017, so it's all good. I'm really glad I played it. I think the writing is still excellent. The characters are excellent. There's some really like surprisingly emotional scenes, like when May's mum talks to May about being upset that May sort of quit college, university, and questioning why, and like they were also sort of because May was the first one in their family to go to college, and and like they were sort of struggling financially, and basically it's about when you're an adult, it's not all like it's not brilliant because you're basically got a lot more shit to deal with, and I think I thought that really spoke to me. Just because people are older and they're adults, when you're younger, you think adults have got it together. There's no worries. You just do the stuff, and actually, there's just more worries. And I thought the writing was really sharp and it's really affecting. I thought it was an excellent game. But what I did was I streamed this 2 Sundays ago, and I started it. And I think I said in last week's show that it wasn't really a streaming game, so I did play through up to the last chapter in the week, and I'm glad I did. And then basically on Sunday I streamed the last hour or so in the last chapter, and it's the best way of doing it because it was not a streaming game at all. It was mostly just clicking buttons, but I'm glad I got through it, and I just streamed the last hour or so. But excellent game, really happy I got through it, and it's brilliant. I'm happy I did it.
Cool.
People in the chat afterwards are saying, well, it's Super Mario Odyssey next, to get the 5 from the Moon challenge. I didn't actually cheat. I just used a bit where you do like a backflip on top of the lift to get past that bit all the blocks were chucking into the lava. The rest I did.
Yeah, it sounds legit.
Well,
no, it doesn't.
But
go on.
but I'm using some of the in-game, the in-game movesets to get through a part of the level. I wasn't like there's one. I think Scientologist said, that he used a bit where basically you can get on the frog right at the beginning and literally hop from the start to the end, which is mental. I literally did like a crouch backflip jump and land on top of the lift. And anyway, I think that's fine. But I do in my mind I want to get through that. See if I'll do it on stream sometime. Anyway, Nine of Woods is done. The plate is clean. On to the next meal.
Fully licked.
Licked clean, yeah.
Right. Emails. James.
Okay, if you want to email us, it's podcast@thecomputergameshow.com. Liz Walker's written in and said, whenever my friends and I talk about our favourite games of all time, one of my close friends always ranted that I needed to play Suikoden 2, claiming it was one of the best JRPGs he'd ever played. At the time, I figured because I'd never heard of it, it probably wasn't that good and carried on with my life. However, recently I saw it on the PSN store for $3.99, and given that my friend still mentions it from time to time, I thought I'd give it a go. I was pleasantly surprised to find that despite usually struggling to find the time required to play a JRPG, I enjoyed every minute of my 50 hours, and would probably concur with my friend that it is one of the best JRPGs of the PS1 era. The writing is excellent throughout, and there's a real sense of epic storytelling as you go from a young soldier in a youth brigade to a general of your own army with a castle and up to 100 hand-recruited NPCs at your disposal. Do you have any little-known gem of the prior generation that people would probably love if they just gave it a chance?
I mean, yeah, because Suikoden 2 is one of those ones that you hear mentioned to this day, along with like Vandal Hearts and like the original Final Fantasy Tactics and stuff. That people are just like, this is the fucking best. No one's beating this shit. Like, this is still like in terms of the depth of and especially like we're talking about Fire Emblem a lot. These games do that stuff really well, where it's all about managing your guys and figuring out interesting like cross-class abilities and stuff like that, which I love. So, I've never played it, but it would be cool to have the time to do. Because I think if it's on PSN and it's a PS1 game, that means it'll play on the Vita, right? So that's dangerous.
I bet that's on Vita,
yeah, certainly.
So that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, to actually answer the question, little-known gem for prior generations that people would probably love if they just gave it a chance.
I like Jade Empire quite a lot, which seems to have just been disappeared, because that was brilliant.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. It was an interesting. Do you think they'd get away with that now? Because it was a very sort of, hey, here's a bunch of Americans make. Like, I don't know how much Chinese input there was. I know it wasn't specifically. It was a very sort of, let's do China, but we don't actually know enough, so we'll kind of just make it up.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, it's like a lot of the word, using the word inscrutable a lot and stuff, which probably wouldn't really fly these days.
I'd have to go back and play it again actually, and see what I'd make of it now, because I played it like way before I got involved in China at all. So yeah, maybe it's.
You might find it really offensive now.
Yeah.
I did so like the morality system in BioWare games, which is always just like good or bad, and it seems really reductive. But then in Jade Empire, it was open palm and closed fist, which I thought was a really nice way of summarizing even though it's just still it's as simple, but there was a bit of nuance in how it was described, which I thought was cool. I'd be keen. I don't know if I'll have the time, but if you were ever to go back to that, I'd be keen to hear how you got on with it.
Yeah. Are you going to go too human, Sean?
Nah. I always bang on about El Shaddai Ascension of the Metatron, which is out on the 360 and PS3, and it's for some reason it is a melee action game based off the Book of Enoch, which is an apocryphal Jewish text about when Enoch before. I think it's before he was officially a saint. When he had to come down to earth and batter all the angels that fell to earth and became, and with having sex with humans and creating weird creatures. And it's absolutely off its nut. It's just one of the weirdest games I've ever played, and I really love it. I think that's all I've got off the top of my head. You got any, Matt?
Oh yeah. So did you guys on N64 play Forsaken 64?
I played it on PC. Yeah.
Like, obviously, me and my mates, we all love like Killing Instinct at the time and Mario Kart and GoldenEye. But Forsaken, we played so much that like there was many debates in our friends group. Like, is this almost as good or on a level or maybe slightly better than GoldenEye 64? We absolutely hammered that game in 4-player multiplayer. It was absolutely excellent. It's basically like a first-person. It's a first-person ship combat game, but it's all like in internal arenas with like You're going down like was essentially like,
was it like Descent?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're basically going in there. It's like internal sort of multiplayer arenas, basically loads of pipes and this and the other. But obviously, because you're on a ship, you can turn on your axis. You can like spin around, do barrel rolls, this and the other. And like we played that so much and got really really good at it, and it was really competitive. And it's like this is such an excellent game. But obviously on N64, Pill's obviously talking about GoldenEye and Mario Kart, I guess, at a time in terms of multiplayer games. But Forsaken 64, I don't even know how that game was even reviewed, or even like how it was considered in like the pantheon of all the great 64 games, N64 games.
It's not one that gets talked about. Still, is it? It doesn't often come up.
When people say N64, like I think Mario Kart and Mario 64 and all the classics, but I also always think of Forsaken. So I doubt it will hold up now.
I just had a look at the reviews. I mean, it's all like just solid sort of 8 out of 10s. Everyone's like, it's fine.
Yeah. But I guess because there was like a bunch of us playing it, it's like, with any sort of game, like if you've got a group of mates all playing it, you can get fun out of it. And we absolutely loved that game.
Yeah, and as you say, it's unfair because GoldenEye Mario Kart 64 existed, so unless something was absolutely exceptional, it probably wasn't going to get a look in.
I don't know why one of my mates bought it, but we did, and we're like, actually, this is bloody brilliant.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what else we missed in that era, because N64 games were like 70 quid each, right? So you basically
they're expensive.
So you only got Christmas and birthday, that was it. So yeah, I think there's probably a lot of games that people didn't feel they were able to take a risk on back then.
I remember absolutely loving this F1 game called F1 World Grand Prix. And at the time, people were like, the graphics were stunning. I mean, I'm sure now they're like absolutely dreadful. But me and my mate Grant would like literally play like full length like F1 games, F1 races, like 60 laps. Obviously, I was a child. I can do what I want. It's summer holidays probably. No, it's probably college, regardless. Yeah, like we played that for hours and hours and hours, and then again, I'm sure that game wasn't reviewed terribly well, but I don't know, it's different. It's different back then, isn't it? You got loads of time, and you also, because they're 60 or 70 quid games, you're going to get your money's worth, aren't you?
Do you know what I could go back to, even though it's probably rubbish? The Chow Garden stuff in Sonic Adventure.
Oh yeah.
Oh what? Yeah. Do you mean the stuff on? You mean on the VMU, or just actually when you go back to Chow Garden?
Both. Yeah, because you'd go into the levels, kill a few enemies, then they'd all have they'd release creatures of different colours, and you go to your Chow Garden and you'd get them to interact with the creatures, and you'd raise one to be really good at flying, one to be really good at running, and one to be good at climbing. And then enter them in little races, and honestly, when you because this, I played a lot of this when I was a teenager, and an incredibly moody and sad one at that. And in hindsight, I do wonder how much just the Chow Garden got me through that, because it was just fucking great. It just felt so peaceful, and I just spent out really quite obsessively playing that until I had this incredible elite team of chows who could win any fucking race. Yeah, bizarre. Probably rubbish now. But there you go.
You said, was it pronounced Chow Garden? Obviously they're the Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah, they did pronounce it Chow in game.
But I'm I think that's how I pronounced it. But even then, I was because I would famously mispronounce everything when I was younger, and also as an adult. Do you remember? There's a game. I think is it Sonic and Knuckles, and it's Chaotix. Was that the
Yeah,
game?
Knuckles Chaotix. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. How do I pronounce it? Fuck. Is it like Quatox or something? I was like, I think it's pronounced Quatox. I was like, and then it wasn't until I heard on a VHS it's Chaotix. I'm like, okay, I'm not pronouncing another thing ever again in my life because I'm good at wrong. Yeah, the VMUs, man, they were good, weren't they?
VMUs were good. Yeah, so I was doing all that, and then I was putting my chow on my VMU, taking it to school. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, he's so cool. He's got a chow in his VMU. I hope we can be
He's got
friends
VMU
with him."
in his pocket, ladies.
Yeah, what a lad. Do you know what else?
Right,
The reason
VMU boys, let's go.
The reason that chows are in the forefront of my mind at the moment. There is an episode of Bing, the kids' TV show, not the shit, not the shit search engine. Yeah, I know Isaac's obsessed with it at the moment. It's very painful.
I like the ending music. The ending music gets me every time. I think it sounds nice.
I don't like any part of it. It's terrible.
Okay. There's one where I think it was Bing anyway, where one of them's got a cuddly toy and it is very clearly a chow from Sonic Adventure. I took a photograph of it. I'll have to send it to you.
Chow, it's a Bing thing. No, it's not. You're a twat. Oh god, I hate Bing. I hate Bing.
Fucking up and being an annoying child.
Elodie keeps bringing home like Bing books on the library. I was like, you know my thoughts on Bing. Love it as a search engine. Hate it as a child's book. Get it out of my house. This isn't anything related to the story, but I can't believe we didn't bring us up earlier. Well, I wanted to bring it up earlier. We had like a trailer for Need for Speed Heat, didn't we, at Gamescom? Have you seen that, James?
I've not, but I've heard that it's very similar to Juiced. Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is in that it's a racing game, customizing, you run away from the cops, etc., etc. But what they're doing is, you can download the NFS Heat, Need for Speed Heat app now. And basically in that, you can basically start customizing your vehicles. And then when you customize them in the app, that then just gets sent to the main game. And I thought that's like a great idea. I would do that. Again, commuting to and from work or wherever you are, if you've got 5 minutes on the toilet, you can actually do stuff that's then going to be affecting the game. I was wanting to know, do you think that's absolutely rubbish, James? Or is that something you might actually be interested in?
I guess, maybe. Why?
I don't know, because I know it's sort of thing. I thought actually, that seems useful, but I know most people will think you're an idiot, Matt, and that's a massive waste of time.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with it?
Well, I mean, I haven't actually seen what most people are thinking about it, but I just assume most people think, no, that's stupid. Like, why would you bother? It's like the old days of, of Xbox when they're saying, oh yeah, just you can edit your things on your various second screen and it will affect the game. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was quite a cool little idea.
Yeah, sounds all right.
Okay,
it is. It's just a shame that everything else about the game is trapped in 2003, as far as I can tell.
Oh, okay.
I'm willing to give it a.
I know you are, Matt. I know you are because
that's what I do. I want games to be good. I don't go and thinking they're gonna be shit, but maybe I should wake up and smell the coffee.
Asphalt.
Well, I was trying to find a car term, but I couldn't think of anything, so I went for coffee. Let's go on to tweet. It's at Computer Game Pod if you want to tweet us a tweet. James Carr has started. If your face were to appear on TCGS promotional material, a t-shirt, say, what caption or slogan would you like to accompany it? I mean, this is James Carr thinking the t-shirt captions we produced aren't good enough.
Yeah, he can go fuck himself. No, that's not true.
Some people are saying, James, they wanted in the beginning on your t-shirt, and given this episode, I think they might be right.
Yeah, to be fair, that nearly happened.
Yeah, it got poo-pooed.
Yeah,
I had no control over any of this. It was all just decided. So yeah,
it's all right. At least Matt didn't try and put someone else's catchphrase on your shirt, James. Because that nearly happened to me.
Oh yeah, that did not happen there. Yeah, so thanks for living it under with Sean's face. Yeah, many apologies for that.
That's right. Right.
I mean, do you want like a cool catchphrase on a new T-shirt, James?
No, it's fine. I think what's there is all right. I mean, what does it say on mine? What does it say?
Shoot.
Shoot.
You don't even know what it says. Yeah. Don't even know what it says on your T-shirt.
Don't it? Yeah. People are going to be walking around with a T-shirt with your likeness on it, James, and you don't even know.
You haven't even engaged with what it says on your T-shirt.
Yeah, sorry.
It's not even bothered. James just like, when's the money coming in? Yeah. Well, I don't give a shit.
Does he care about the community? Well, there's your answer.
Fuck the fans.
Yeah.
What does it even say on the T-shirt? Like, hey, cool dudes? I don't know, man.
That famous photograph of the dog with the shades on and the sign that says, fuck you, pay me. That is James Farley.
That should have been. We should have done that.
That is totally unfair. No, it's just because I didn't have any control over this. It was just all done, and so it's like it's not fair.
I mean, I definitely asked, but you were like, "Yeah, man, it's cool. Just put my cool catchphrase on it, baby."
There's so much quotable stuff, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, incredibly quotable. Rafi at Rafi Plays. Will we ever find out what James did to the community?
I don't know what's going on with this.
Now?
I don't
Please
know what
don't
this
happen.
is all about.
Also, have you ever fallen into a slump where you stop wanting to play games? I had this recently, but it was broken by playing Ratchet and Clank. Have you experienced this, and what game broke the slump?
I've definitely had phases where, not that I didn't want to play games, but just everything I put on, I was just like, no, I don't want to play this. No. You know, like when you're a kid and like everything's rubbish, even though in hindsight you're like, fuck's sake, man, you could have just done whatever you wanted. You had all the time in the world. I think it's partly like, because obviously thanks to the internet, like there's a lot less mystery in general around games, and I think you sort of broadly know what things, or you think you broadly know what things are going to be like before you get involved. So it's easy to just be like, it's difficult to be surprised by things, I think, these days. And I think that feels like part of it sometimes. But also it's the pressure of like not having that much free time, as you get older, and like, when you play something and I've said like my Destiny sessions where I'll put 2 hours in and maybe a number goes up and I'm just like, was that the best use of the 2 hours I just had? Because now I've got to go to bed, and that's that. So, yeah.
See, I get this every time something new comes out that's like a big thing that I know I'm supposed to play. And I always find it a bit difficult because I often when I put something in that's like, brand new, I just start playing and think, I don't really feel like playing this at the moment, but I know I'm supposed to. And it's just... I hate that. That's something.
And and it can be a double-edged sword because sometimes that that can egg you on to really get into something that ends up being worthwhile, but maybe you struggled at first. Mm-hmm. But equally, there are times where you're just like, I feel like I just wasted the only free time I have for the next 3 days. Mm-hmm. And
I've definitely been there. Like there was a time when I was playing Destiny, Battlefield 3 maybe at a time, or maybe another Battlefield, and FIFA, and I'm thinking, hang on, like I'm spending all my time playing these games, and there's no ending to any of these games. Yeah, and then sorry,
bless you.
I couldn't stop myself.
That felt like a good one, mate. I'm happy for you.
It actually felt really good. One of the best today, actually. I was playing games like FIFA, Destiny, and like Battlefield. There was no ending. I was like, and I was playing him. I was on this this treadmill, just going, numbers going up or whatever. And I was like, this isn't satisfying. And I thought, actually, no, I'm going to start actually to finish games. And then I think I started then like playing loads of at the time XBLA games or shorter indie games. And I was like, I'm actually getting real satisfaction because I'm actually finishing games. And that was a really big moment for me. For actually, I don't want to continue playing these games where there is no end in sight. I was actually really enjoying these shorter 4 to 8 hour indie games. I think I played them maybe Limbo and some of the other ones at a time around then. And I was like, I felt a lot better for doing that. I also remember when I was much younger and I sort of fell out of love for gaming, but then I got a DS Lite, and then that sort of really invigorated my love for gaming all over again. Just playing these quite unique games at a time.
Yeah,
and
I think those sort of endless games are fine if you are actually making the effort to play them with friends, because I don't think any of us get to actually see our mates that often. So that that's really worthwhile, even if you say you don't necessarily achieve anything. The fact that it is actually like valuable social time could be
definitely
is really good. But but there's a lot to be said for just smashing through shorter games. We've all said many times when people are like, this game's good, but it's only like 2 hours long, and I'm like, mate, thank fuck, that's brilliant. I can't wait. I'll just finish it in an evening, and that's that.
When someone said to me this indie game is like 7 hours long, I'm like, hello, just put it in me. That's perfect. That's what I want, like a nice little short contained experience. I know it's less than 10 hours. Brilliant. I'm all over that.
Yeah, and it's not about like, brilliant, that's something I can feel like I've done. It's like something I can tick off in a relatively short space of time. It's that sense of like having had a complete experience in a relatively short space of time that you can then take away and think about, and and like it's not just ticking it off for the sake of it. It's like you can forget sometimes that it's a different, like finishing something is an experience in and of itself in the way that you can then go away and assess it fully, rather than just playing bits of everything and sort of
and there's
having
such
an
a sense of
opinion.
accomplishment with that you don't get by you might go up a few levels in Destiny or progressing like a FIFA season, but it's a different type of accomplishment, and that really helped me when I was like getting a bit not jaded, but I was like, I'm just playing these games every day, but I'm not really feeling much.
Yeah. So that doesn't really answer the question, but there you go.
There you go. It went off in a different direction. At MJL Gaming on Twitter, I'm thinking of starting a podcast on my own. Do you have any advice / tips or things to avoid when initially starting out #Mr. T-shirts? We have covered this before, but I think it's probably worth going over again. Just record stuff. Record stuff. Do it for your own amusement, chiefly,
because we're like so happy with where we are, but like this has been after me podcasting for like 12 years. I know Matt and James, you've been doing it for like almost as long, I think, and that was a long time of like not necessarily having a huge following, certainly not making any money off it until recently. So you've got to just do it for your own reasons and for your own amusement. Like, obviously be aware that it is like ultimately you are putting it out for other people to listen to, but you've got to be enjoying doing it first and foremost, because like anything, it's something you need quite a bit of practice at. And I think, not to say that we've mastered it, but but like it's something you get better at with time, and whatever you record now, you'll initially be really happy with, and when you listen back to it in a year, you'll be really fucking embarrassed. But that's good, because it means you got better. So do sort of be prepared to like, not that everything, it sort of sounds like you're saying, oh, well, everything you do is basically a waste of time. It's not, because it's just the necessary steps to getting better at it. But just do it. Just get into it. Enjoy yourself. One day be embarrassed about the early stuff you did, but that is fine because you got better, and that is, that's the point.
Yeah, I mean, basically, create stuff that you would want to listen to, and then there will be an audience out there to listen to it. Also, I guess, like, when you're starting out, I mean, like, quality is really massively important. I mean, it doesn't matter sometimes how good the actual content is. If you go there and listen to a podcast and the audio quality is crap, most people go turn off. And these days you can get really great quality from equipment which doesn't cost the earth at all. So sound quality is massively important. But ultimately just produce something that you're happy with, and there'll be an audience to go there. In terms of like being embarrassed, I've been doing this for say 12 years or so, and I'm really proud of this show and other stuff we've done. But I still, when I listen to my voice, basically want to flip the car into the central reservation because I hate it. I'm
totally over that. I've married up the how my voice sounds in my head to how it sounds to other people now, because I've heard enough of it. But I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I'll never get over there. But so that may never go, or you may be happy with it. But just create something you're happy with, and just get going. I mean, if the first few you have to record, but you don't release them, then that's cool. Just keep doing that until you feel happy enough that you want to put out into the world, and then just keep going. And then don't expect Casper or Audible adverts from day one, or after 6 episodes, or whatever that piece in the New York Times said.
I mean, I do always roll my eyes when like people start a podcast and then 5 episodes in, they're just like, oh, we've partnered with Acast and now we've got ads, and it's like, why? You need to be so big for that to be worth doing. And it just annoys people for, when This American Life have adverts, you're like, yeah, do you know what? They're huge, and the stories obviously involve a lot of research and a lot of time, and that costs money, and here's me just rocking up and listening for free. But when, 2 lads just chatting with each other in their basement, running Acast adverts, you're like, come on. It's not really necessary, is it? So I think people really jump the gun when it comes to sticking adverts in. But
James, you're a veteran now of the UK gaming podcast scene. What tips have you got?
Yeah, mate.
See, I've got just exactly what you've just said. All of that stuff, I completely agree. Like with all of that, I mean, it is just finding something that you're enjoying doing, and do it because you enjoy it, not because you're expecting. I don't know. You see, for me, this has always been, I do this because I do enjoy doing it, and that's the main reason I do it. Is not so much just because you're thinking I'm going to get an audience and all that kind of thing. It's because it's nice chatting you all. It's that's the thing.
Yeah, like all joking aside, like this is basically my social life.
Yeah, same.
No, that's not true. Basically, this and WhatsApp for the most part, like between like most of my friends not living nearby and having kids and job, etc. Like actually, I always used to say like, I'm gutted that like I don't live in London where most of my friends are, and then you realise that most of them don't even see each other that often because life.
Exactly. Yeah.
So just having something like this booked in every week, plus like the bonus stuff we do, and even the streams as well. Like it's proper good fun. Like just chatting with everyone who's watching and stuff. It's good. It's good fun.
Yeah, I bloody love it. Yeah. Thomas at LamaClub42. As we enter the last year of this generation, what's your favourite game so far?
Wait, hang on. Why is this the last year of this generation?
Well, no, because if next gen's going to start in 2020.
Sorry. As we enter the last year, okay.
Yeah.
So next year is the
I mean, Last of Us for me that's one of my favourite games of all time. Anyway,
that's last gen, mate.
Yeah.
Is that though?
That was PS3.
I guess PS3.
PS3 that came out. Yeah.
Shit.
It's
well,
that
let me
good.
think.
Survived a generation. I mean, off the top of my head, Breath of the Wild has to get a mention.
Yeah. It's got to be that.
I don't know.
What's funny about that, James?
No, it's just funny. It's like you went Breath of the Wild and you went, oh yeah.
Yeah, I still see, people still, even today, still sharing like amazing sort of clips on Twitter. And like, oh, look at this mad stuff you can do in this game. And, just hearing like the sounds and like, it's this game is beautiful, isn't it? It really is. A stunner.
Yep.
I'm going Yakuza 0. That's been my favourite, probably, of this generation. I loved it. Yeah.
Of the generation?
Yeah. Of this generation, yeah. It's the game which is like...
spit take from Matt.
Wow.
Yeah. It's obviously stuff like Zelda and all that was also really amazing, but this was a series which, has made me want to play like 7 entries or whatever, like one after the other. It's great.
Yeah, fair enough.
Wow, okay.
It's kind of what I always wanted, and that's why I'm really happy with it.
I mean, not that there's much current gen about it, but I wonder if Hyper Light Drifter would be on the list as well.
Ooh.
But it's all pixel art, innit? It might as well be 20 years old, mate.
Yeah.
What's next?
It might. Athena Allen, how has Sean not picked up Metal Wolf Chaos yet?
Yeah, do you know what? I don't know. Because I never played it back in the day, but obviously on paper it's everything I want. It is, From Software doing a very fast-paced, kind of silly mech game. Don't know, just not found the time yet.
Well,
but we'll see.
Luke Summerhays at Busker Lily on Twitter. Unless James has just deleted that message. Fine.
Whoa! James has gone full fucking renegade.
Stop fucking deleting that, James. Put it back in now. Put it back in the doc now, James.
It's 11:15, Matt.
Put it in. I've started his name. I can't then stop. I've started, so I'll finish.
You delete others now, but because we don't want them to be like publicly shamed on the show.
James, it's 11:15. Okay, I'm getting this question out, and then we'll work.
You just hate the community, James. Yeah. This is it. You just slipping back into the 2 out of 10.
Deleting your messages. I'm so sorry, but I copied everyone in the doc. He's like, bang.
He's absolutely rampant.
It was about him, so I thought, okay, maybe it's about it. Okay, I'm carrying on. Luke Summerhays, friend of Bears, at Busker Lily. If James is too chicken to do the full Statham catalogue, how about Fast Calls, all the Fast and Furious films, trying to keep track of all the characters and how it went from stealing DVD players to The Rock putting helicopters out of the sky to save the world?
You see, this might work, because I've never seen a Fast and Furious film properly.
I think I might have seen one. I don't know. Back in the first one.
I mean, this only works if Dave is like a proper scholar of the Fast and Furious extended universe.
Are any of us?
So
I know Dave isn't, because on the last Star Calls, they're like, is Jason Statham still acting? He's literally in Hobbs and Shaw, like the most recent spin-off that came out 2 weeks ago, the Fast and Furious spin-off with The Rock. So yeah,
I love that if we did this, instead of it being like, oh, one person's a newcomer and one person's really knowledgeable and they're talking about it, it'll just be all four of us showing up and just being like, what the fuck was this?
Yeah, why did that car do that?
Dude, driving way too fast. Irresponsible.
Yeah. Fast calls to no one. Anyway.
But then what if we get to the bit where what's his name died in real life and we're all like really sad?
Shit, yeah.
Playing that Wiz Khalifa song and bursting into tears.
Isn't he CG, I think, for...
I've no idea, mate. Yeah.
Anyway, James, are you deleting any more or what?
No, go on.
Go on, Matt, before he changes his mind.
You didn't have to say that. I mean, I was just doing us a favour.
Well, no, but don't delete when I'm midway through reading the message. I didn't even get a chance to read the message.
That was just bad timing.
Yeah. That was, yeah. Okay, Colin Ross Wilson. Sean, except for Piss Simulator 2019, a Hideo Kojima production, was there any game that was worth seeing at the conference last night?
Everspace 2 looked quite good. Do you know, I mean, I was quite tired, but I remember very little of that conference.
The Last of Us, not Last of Us, fucking hell, Life is Strange trailer was good.
Oh, yeah, it was. But
we tried to talk over it because I didn't want it to sport for us. But
yeah, we already know we're excited about that, so that doesn't really count, I don't think.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
James, will you be streaming Erica next? It looks like something you would enjoy. So Erica was announced at Gamescom, and it's basically like an FMV game, isn't it? I saw like Bandersnatchy.
Yeah,
but it was weird. It was all like sort of filmed video stuff, but it was interactive in that, they showed a bit where there's a box and you can open it slowly and then close it again, but it's filmed. It's not like, computer graphics. Which obviously it's just a bit of footage going forwards and backwards, but looks weirdly convincing.
It really does. I thought it looked excellent. I was like, this looks perfect for streaming. So, James, you're streaming on Thursday, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I got this because it wasn't that expensive anyway. So
it's like £9, isn't it, from PSN?
Yeah, it's like £9. So I'm going to stream this on Thursday, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long it is, but whether it's possible to do it in a sitting, but we'll see.
Yeah, awesome. We mentioned on streams again, but yeah, basically James will be streaming this 9 o'clock on Thursday. Also, Colin continues, Matt, you recently streamed the beginning and the end of a game, doing the rest of the game on your own time. Would you be doing that with all games in the future? Because that would be a massive time saver for us all. Absolutely
charming.
Not. How dare you? It's the journey, not destination, Colin, apart from that game, it wasn't really stream worthy. That's it for questions. Let's go on to streaming. It's a busy week this week. We're doing fuckloads. So Wednesday night, which is tonight for listeners on the day this pod comes out, is what we're now calling the season 1 finale of Played by the Bell. Sean is streaming because the week after it's FIFA time.
It is.
So
Can't wait.
What game is it you're streaming again?
I am streaming Fight Crab.
Crab.
And it's going to be absolutely incredible, I hope.
Yes. It will be incredible. I know what's going to happen. If you're listening to this on the day this pod comes out, watch Sean tonight on twitch.tv/computer game show from 9 o'clock. It'll be worth your time, trust me.
We still need to figure out the ground rules for FIFA. We've got to do that at some point.
I don't know enough to comment either way, so just tell me what the rules are once you figured it out, I guess. I'm not going to argue because I don't know what the ramifications are of any particular rules or whatever. So, yeah, go for it.
We've got some time. But yeah, that's tonight. If you're listening to Wednesday, Play by the Bell on Twitch, the season 1 finale. Do not miss it. And then tomorrow is Thursday. James is streaming Erica, this FMV game, sort of Bandersnatchy. That's 9 o'clock. On Thursday. On Friday, James is back again for Until Dawn. That's also on Twitch Friday night from 9. You're still loving that game, aren't you, James?
Yeah, that was still
I watched quite a lot of that last week. It was very good.
It's still incredibly clip worthy with jump scares and whatnot. So that's Thursday and Friday from 9 if you love a bit of James. And on Sunday, now I finished Night in the Woods, I'm starting a new series, but with James, and I'm going to play through and finish Alex Kidd in Miracle World. This game has been on my plate since I was like 9 years old.
You are not going to finish that game, Matt.
I'm not going to start it and not finish it. Clearly I am.
Wait, are you allowed to use save states? Or
Well, I'm not going to. And
fucking hell, Matt.
Yeah.
It's going to be impossible.
Well, look, I'm not going to until maybe it's 6 weeks down the line. I'm like, fucking hell, I've got to do something.
Oh my
but
God.
I would almost bet you a PS5, Matt. But there's
whoa, hang on.
I said almost. I'm not doing that yet, but it's like there's no way that you're going to be able to do it without save states.
But this is the game as it was originally meant to be. Obviously, people finish this game. It's not. People don't laud this as the hardest game in existence.
Yeah, but Matt, you're not the best at platform games. We've already established.
Well, you don't. Have you seen me play a platform game? You don't know what I'm like.
You don't play platform games, and
I know that, but that's I'm coming at it from left.
Might have a secret gift.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, Sunday night, I'm playing Alex Kidd, and James will be on the call to help to guide me through it. Basically, so listen to me.
Just to check, James, are you all right with this schedule? Because I feel like. So
basically, I talked to him in the week. I said, "Are you sure?" But he's a madman. So
all right,
it's fine. It's only because the Erica one's only a one-off anyway. Hopefully, and it's just fine.
Yeah,
I mean, I was even considering with the one on Sunday whether if you use Mixer, can't you take over the controller or something as well?
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure. Isn't that a feature of Mixer that you can do that?
Maybe. Well, we're sticking to Twitch. I won't need your help, James. I'll be fine.
Okay.
Anyway, so if you love James, it's a Thursday, Friday, and Sunday for James this week.
It's a big old Devils. James week, isn't it?
This is hashtag James week. It's massive. Anyway, so I'm playing Alex Kidd Sunday night, and James will be there as well for support. If you've got Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime, and with that you get one free subscription per month. Please think about going over to our channel and giving us that free sub. If you do it when we're streaming, you'll get a lovely little shout out. We really appreciate it. If you subbed in the past and it's expired, which it does, please think about coming back and subscribing again. That's it for streaming. Sarkles is still going. This week, Dave has seen Solo, and that's basically Dave caught up. I mean, seeing Solo is it
definitely was in front of him, and he had his eyes open. I think
it's a fascinating episode, I must say. I mean, I've enjoyed the entire series, but I had questions throughout watching this. Listen to this one. Yep. I mean, I cannot wait for the roundtable.
Yeah, we're skipping a week, aren't we? I think we're not, so it's not going to be. It's not going to be this coming Monday, but maybe the week
Solo's
after.
out now. Dave has watched it. You've got to listen to it because you've just got to listen to it. And that's Dave now caught up with every single Star Wars film. We're going to do a roundtable, but not this week. It'll be the week after, where we myself and Sean joining Dave and James to discuss, all the films. I guess
Disney era.
Yeah, the current era. In terms of Patreon stuff, we're on Patreon, of course, patreon.com/TCGS. August's bonus show and our Talks Over are both out now for patrons, where in the Talks Over, we talk over the E3 2004 Sony conference where they announced the PSP.
Oh, it's dry, isn't it? It was. I mean, we had fun. I mean, we made it our own thing, I guess.
Yeah, it was so dry. It went not off the rails is the wrong way of describing it, but it went places. I mean, Dave starts off by laying on the couch. So that's an example of what the show, what it was like. And that's it. I mean, and the computergameshow.com if you want to see the rest of our stuff. And of course, we've launched our store, the computergameshow.com/store. Check out the merch, t-shirts, tote bags, mugs, you name it. We've got it over there. Please think about going over and seeing what we got. And that's about it.
Cool. Thanks for listening. This has ended up being a longer one after we thought it was going to be a shorter one. Again.
Always the way.
Whatever. I mean, James is absolutely thrilled, as you can tell. Dave messaged us asking if we'd finished recording yet, and James has just replied, nope. So thanks for listening. And catch you on the streams or next week, or if you're a patron, watch the extra stuff that you've paid for. It's good, especially if you like things falling over. You'll have a great time. And most of all, thanks for letting us be natural, I guess. Cheers.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.